Hey YouTube, Sean, aka JTISREBORN here, and welcome into the complete Halloween series of reviews. Now, what you're about to see is all of my Halloween movie reviews going back from 2016 with the first film from 1978 all the way up till 2024, which was the big Halloween Ends video, which concluded that review series, and I finally felt like I had a big weight lifted off my chest because it had been several years since I had started covering it. So, and like it even pushed into the development of the David Gordon Green trilogy. So I was glad to kind of get that done and just kind of wrap itself up in a nice little bow. I won't give anything away for those who haven't seen it yet, but I will talk more about it after this whole 3+ hour video of a compilation of it all is done. I have a lot of people to thank for it, so stick around till in a few hours. Happy Halloween, and I'll see you all later, which, by the way, I've time-stamped everything, but enjoy. Hello everybody, and happy October, aka the best fucking month of the year. The fall season is now in full effect and Halloween is drawing near. So for this year, I thought I might go ahead and review the Halloween movies, as a way for me to get myself into the Halloween spirit and to give you, the viewer, something to look forward to. So, go ahead and sit back, grab yourself a bowl of some Count Chocula cereal, along with some of those delicious Halloween sugar cookies. Oh, these cookies are amazing! And enjoy the review. Oh, these cookies are so good. The first Halloween film was released in the year 1978 and was directed by John Carpenter, who also did the music for the film. Now, before I continue onward, I just have to pause a moment and comment on the soundtrack. The musical score done by John Carpenter here is absolutely amazing. One of the best scores ever for a horror movie. The music is incredibly atmospheric and very suspenseful. So, if you have some spare time, and I really recommend that you do, check out the soundtrack, give it a listen, and yeah, it's amazing. Do yourself a favor, go ahead and check it out. So the movie begins in Halloween 1963 in the town of Haddonfield, Illinois, which, despite the movie taking place in Illinois and being the middle of fall, none of the leaves have changed any colors. We see the POV shot of an unknown figure who's watching some girl and her boyfriend fooling around until they go upstairs to have sex.
You fucking whore.
The figure continues watching the two as it goes into the kitchen and grabs a knife. The boyfriend leaves, leading the killer to continue onward up the stairs until he walks in on this girl who is almost completely naked. She turns around and yells, "Michael!" who then stabs her, and we get this eerie reveal that the killer is in fact a 6-year-old child known as Michael Myers. It's a very effective scene. I can only imagine being in the theater back in 1978 and seeing that reveal. I can only imagine how effective it must have been. 15 years after this incident, we're introduced to Dr. Samuel Loomis, Michael Myers' psychiatrist played by Donald Pleasence, who was also famous for playing the character of Ernst Stavro Blofeld in the James Bond movie You Only Live Twice. Donald Pleasence does an amazing job in this film. He's easily by far the best actor in this movie. Donald Pleasence will later reprise his role of Dr. Samuel Loomis in the films Halloween 2, Halloween 4, Halloween 5, and Halloween the Curse of Michael Myers, so the 6th movie, but they stopped numbering them after 5. Don't know why, I mean, people already know it's your 6th movie, but whatever. So, Donald Pleasence, amazing job. Probably my favorite scene in the entire movie is when he has to give his pure evil speech about Michael Myers. It really adds to the mystique and lore of Michael Myers and really makes him seem scarier, and a lot of that has to do with Donald Pleasence's delivery. You're entranced and awe, you're just shaken every time he gives a speech. Every time he's on screen, you can't take your eyes off him. Donald Pleasence is absolutely amazing in this film. While on his way back to Smith's Grove, where Michael Myers is being held, Myers escapes and steals a car and heads back home to Haddonfield to continue his killing spree, once again on the night of Halloween. From this point onward in the film, we have Dr. Loomis, who is on his way to Haddonfield to try and find and stop Michael Myers. But on the other hand, we have Michael Myers, who is out there stalking his victims. Those victims include our main character, Laurie Strode, played by a young Jamie Lee Curtis, a role that she would play again in Halloween 2, H2O, and a film that shall not be named. She is quiet and innocent, but also smart, likable, and resourceful. Jamie Lee Curtis does a good job at portraying her. Besides just stalking Laurie, Michael Myers also stalks 2 of Laurie's friends. There's Annie, who is the sheriff's daughter, and kind of the more comedic relief of the 3. And she sort of has a negative influence on Laurie. I mean, they're still best friends and all, but she's able to manipulate Laurie into babysitting so she can go fool around with her boyfriend. Then we have Linda, who is the ditzy one of the group. Oh, and by the way, she says the word totally like 50 times in this movie. And I'm not exaggerating here. Every other sentence she says the word totally at the end of it. Totally this, totally that. I'm totally silly, totally wiped out, totally this, totally that. At some point in the movie, it actually becomes pretty comedic. So anyways, from this point onward in the movie, we get to see Michael stalking Laurie and the rest of the group. We see Michael hiding behind bushes, he's in Laurie's backyard, and at one point he even follows them in his stolen car. An interesting thing to note in this movie is that the mask that Michael wears is actually based on a William Shatner mask, which is actually kind of fitting when you think about it, because Michael is creeping on young women much like Captain Kirk does. Now, since I have to review a lot more movies in this series, I normally would go in more detail, but with this movie, I feel like it's not really necessary, and there's not too much to critique. I mean, there's small details here and there, but with this movie, it's a very solid film. So, I'm just going to go ahead and talk about a few of my favorite highlights from the movie, and then just skip to the end. Okay, so here are a few of my favorite highlights. First, we have Bob, the boyfriend of Linda, and his death. It's shot very well and is a very effective scene. Then after Bob is killed, Linda's in bed waiting for him when Michael shows up wearing a sheet and Bob's glasses. It's a very well crafted and effective scene because we, the audience, know that it's really Michael Myers under the sheet. We're just waiting for him to strike. After a few strange things start to happen involving her friends, Laurie goes and investigates the house where Michael had killed Bob, Linda, and Annie. What follows is an intense climax where Michael chases Laurie and we get some classic scenes, such as Michael attacking Laurie in the closet, when he sits up, and the finale where Loomis shoots Michael and he falls off the balcony, but surprise, he's nowhere to be found. It's an eerie finale that leaves a lasting impact to a very good movie. Sure, there are a few things to nitpick, such as some of the dialogue, and the fact that when Laurie is being chased during the climax, nobody in the entire fucking neighborhood comes out to help her. I mean, she's screaming at the top of her lungs. You'd think one neighbor would show up, but still, Halloween is a classic that is full of atmosphere, incredible music, and is just all around a very solid film. If you haven't seen this already, please do yourself a favor and check it out. Seriously, it's on Halloween every year. You can just probably find it on AMC. They air it every fucking Halloween. So, yeah, check it out. So that was my review of Halloween. It's a pretty amazing movie, and you should definitely check it out. So with that being said, be sure to come back next time as I take a look at the sequel, Halloween 2. Thank you all for watching, and have a good night. Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by. It is now time for us to review Halloween 2, so let's get started. After the enormous success of the first movie, a sequel had been greenlit. John Carpenter, who directed the first film, refused to direct the sequel, so instead we have Rick Rosenthal. Although Carpenter did return to do the music, and he also co-scripted the film with Deborah Hill, like in the first movie. Halloween 2 is kind of a mixed bag of a movie. There's things I really like about it, such as the musical score, once again done by Carpenter, which is outstanding as usual, and I like the fact that it takes place on the same night as the first movie. However, there are some things that I really don't like about it, which we'll get into. As the movie begins, we get a recap of the ending to the first movie, where Loomis shoots Michael and he falls off the roof. An interesting thing to note about the whole Loomis shooting thing is that throughout the movie, Loomis is constantly saying, "I shot him 6 times! I shot him 6 times! I shot him 6 times!" Seriously, he says it like 10 times in the fucking movie. But with this recap, though, you can clearly hear the fact that Loomis fires 7 shots. Which is odd, because he clearly yells, "I shot him 6 times." I guess he doesn't know how to count. Anyways, he shoots Michael, who, despite falling off the back balcony in the Doyle's house in the first movie, now is seen falling off the front balcony of the Doyle's house. Butchered continuity! Already this movie is off to a great start. So Loomis goes to investigate Michael's body, which is now gone, and finally a neighbor comes outside to see what's going on. Oh, so now you come outside to find out what's going on. Where was this asshole at the end of the first movie when Laurie was running around outside screaming, "Help! Help! Somebody help me!" Anyways, Laurie gets taken out on a stretcher to the hospital, and Loomis continues his search for Michael, which leads to easily the funniest and best scene in the entire movie, where Loomis thinks he sees Michael Myers, and the guy flees and then gets hit by a cop driving car, which then crashes and fucking explodes.
He came out of nowhere. I couldn't stop.
What do you mean he came out of nowhere and you couldn't stop? Regardless of that, what if he wasn't there? Did you still plan on flooring it into that van in the first place? Alright, so Laurie gets taken to the hospital where Michael soon follows and begins his killing spree. Okay, now this is my main problem with the film. The whole entire hospital setting, per se. This hospital, which has tons of rooms, and it even has like different wings and stuff. It's got an emergency room. It is way too understaffed. You know what I mean? This hospital has 4 nurses, 2 EMTs, a doctor, and a security guard. 8 fucking people manage an entire fucking hospital? Why is it so understaffed? It doesn't make any sense. Now, I understand that it's the night shift and all, but a hospital of that size should have way more than 8 people working it. What if they get flooded with patients and stuff? It's like, oh, I'm sorry, we only have 8 fucking people. Really? 8 fucking people in this entire hospital? But then again, there are practically no patients at this hospital with the exception of Lori, some kid who ate candy with razor blades in it, and some newborn babies, which nobody ever seems to take care of. The hospital should feel like a safe place where Michael can't easily sneak around like he did in the first movie because he's got the neighborhoods, he can hide behind trees and stuff. The hospital should feel like a safe place. You know what I mean? It really hurts my suspension of disbelief when I see Michael going around an empty hospital, like stalking Lori and killing everybody off. So Lori is at the hospital now, and while there, she gets hit on by some EMT named Jimmy, and then the killings begin. Unlike in the first film, which had little to no blood when you think about it, this film really amps up the gore factor. Some of the deaths include Michael smacking some dude with a hammer, slit throats, and needles in the eyes. Probably the most violent death involves a scene with this EMT and nurse. You see, after this douchebag named Bud had attempted to playfully rape this nurse named Karen, he was later able to charm her into some hot tub sex.
You fucking whore.
Then Michael shows up, takes Bud, chokes the life right out of him, like, oh, dead. Then Karen was like, Bud, why don't we go somewhere, Bud? Oh, man, Bud, you're so great and stuff. And she does like, oh my God, it's Michael Myers! Takes her head, oh God, not the boiling water! And her face just melts right fucking off. Although that is the most violent death in the movie, my personal favorite death scene was when Michael stabs Nurse Jill and proceeds to lift her up off the ground with the blade stuck in her. It's pretty cool to see. Now, because this is a sequel, they had to add some new twists to it to make it more interesting, so therefore we get this scene.
That girl, that Strode girl, that's Michael Myers' sister.
It's not true. That's impossible.
Search your feelings. You know it to be true.
No!
It's an interesting revelation that actually adds to the movie and showcases why Michael Myers is so intense on killing Laurie Strode. I mean, at the same time, though, even though I kind of like it, I don't like it, too, because it sort of demystifies the first movie. Michael Myers was a lot scarier in the first film when he seemingly has no motive for killing Laurie Strode. Why does he do the things he does? I don't know, but that mystery and suspense makes him scarier. The less you know about him, I think, makes him more eerier. But still, I'm okay with the whole brother-sister thing, especially the way it plays out throughout the rest of the series. Anyways, I think I rambled on enough, so let's skip to the end. Laurie is chased by Michael throughout the hospital until Loomis shows up. One part I have to comment on is where Michael just walks right through a glass door. And no, he doesn't just smash through it with his fist or something. Michael Myers just straight up just walks right through a glass door like it was fucking nothing. How strong is this guy? Was he given steroids at Smith's Grove? Was he given a super soldier serum that just gives him enhanced strength? So Michael continues chasing Laurie and Loomis. Laurie shoots his eyes, Loomis gets stabbed, Loomis then turns on some gas, then causes an explosion which seemingly kills him and Michael. Afterwards we see Michael, who is now on fire, succumb to his injuries and eventually dies. Then Laurie is taken away in an ambulance, hopefully to a hospital that has actual staff this time, and that's pretty much it. Although I should point out that in the TV cut of the film, Laurie isn't alone in the ambulance, and she's in fact with Jimmy. Yeah, Jimmy, at one point in the movie, is kind of like really incompetent. He slips, falls on his head in a car with Laurie, then hits his head and is knocked out. Okay. So that was Halloween 2, which, like I said earlier, is a mixed bag of a movie. It's not as good as the first film, and there are some logic issues. But still, out of all the sequels, this is the one that feels the most necessary because of the first movie's cliffhanger ending. Is it a good movie? No, not really. But is it a bad film? No, it's more of a middle-of-the-road slasher film, so take it for what it's worth. Well, that's going to wrap up this review. Stay tuned next time as we tackle Halloween 3, and we continue on with these reviews throughout the month of October. It's October 31st? You mean I missed my deadline to review all these movies throughout the month of October? Well, that sucks. Jesus, what was I doing? Oh yeah, that's right, I was fucking sick. But shit. October is over with, people. I missed it. This sucks. I guess that means because these are Halloween movies, it makes no sense to review them after Halloween, so I guess I'll have to wait until next year to review them. Oh, that sucks. You know what? Fuck it. We're gonna continue. We're gonna go throughout October. I'm gonna keep reviewing the movies through October. You know why? Because outside of Thanksgiving, there is nothing to look forward to in October. So, stay tuned, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the reviews because Halloween is extending beyond the 31st. That's right. We're continuing throughout November. We're going to finish these reviews, and then we move into Christmas. So, take care now. Bye-bye then. Happy Halloween. Go out, get some candy, watch some horror movies, and have a great night, everybody. Take care now. Bye-bye then. Hey everyone, welcome in, and happy fucking New Year. You might be wondering, what am I doing here? Why am I reviewing Halloween 3 in the middle of January? Well, the truth is, if you saw my last Halloween review, I said that I would review the rest of the Halloween series throughout the month of November. It is January, so I couldn't do it. I was busy. But I got a few minutes, so sit back, grab a bowl of popcorn or whatever, and enjoy the review. Alright, so Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, one of the strangest horror movie sequels, if you can call it that I have ever seen. I mean, first off, why is it called Halloween 3? The first two movies were about Michael Myers, and yet they have the first movie on the TV playing. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So then, why is the movie called Halloween 3? Well, the truth of the matter is that after they concluded the Michael Myers storyline with the second movie, the filmmakers thought, well, if we're going to continue this, we better do something different, which is understandable. You don't want to be doing the same thing over and over and over again. So they thought, why don't we make this an anthology series? We could tell a lot of unique stories on the night of Halloween. After all, there's more that goes on than just knife stabbing Michael Myers. You can do so much with it. It's a cool concept, but the problem with this film is the execution was handled quite poorly. So you might be wondering, what is the plot of this movie? Well, it's about this mask company known as Silver Shamrock, led by this obnoxious asshole named Connell Cochran. I fucking hate this guy. He wants to murder children so that he can bring Halloween back to its dark and sacrificial roots. What a sociopath. Why does he want to do this? I mean, what benefits him? Does he get power from doing this, or is he just some big troll? I really want to know what brought this guy to this point in his life to where he created this elaborate plan to cause a mass genocide on Halloween. It's not just some simple plan either like poisoning people or blowing shit up. No, it's completely bonkers. Now, because Connell Cochran's plan is actually pretty complicated, the only way that I can feel that I can best explain it is to break it down into these charts or papers or whatever I end up doing. Okay, I don't have like a whiteboard or anything that elaborate to write on, so I just kind of did on these like pieces of paper. It may look a little insane, but in order to, you know, mimic the plan of an insane man, you have to break it down like an insane person would. So, yeah, just deal with it. This is what we're going to do. Just fucking go with it. I don't care. It's Halloween 3. Okay, right here we have Connell Cockface's evil plan for Halloween 3, you know, right there. So it kills children on Halloween for reasons. I don't know why, so let's go. So here we go. So for Cochran's evil plan to work, point A, he's got to have the killer mask. Point B, children need to wear them. Point C, endgame, dead. That's what needs to happen with his plan. This is what needs to happen, okay? So first of all, in order to produce all these fucking Halloween masks at the rate he does in the movie, like millions of them, he needs a lot of money. And according to the movie, he attained this money by selling novelty items and making toys. Well, for reasons like it wouldn't be enough to produce on the level he has in the movie. Also, the factory seems a bit small to be making these masks. Unless he's been doing it for like a decade or something, I call bullshit. Next, he needs workers for this to work. I mean, you know, he needs to have workers, you know, is it the entire town's employed? You know, the town, shit like that. He also has androids to make them. Don't know exactly how they were built. some scientist, I guess. I don't know, maybe he's fucking Willy Wonka or something. I guess Cochran did this himself. Piece of shit. Him and his stupid smug face. So, he then, once he has the capital, he has the employees, he then needs to make the masks with his magic sciencey chip in them. Yeah, it's his sciencey chip. It's pretty messed up. So he's got the 3 masks, witch, skeleton, pumpkin. Then he needs this sciencey chip. Now, what is this sciencey chip? Well, this is a magic sciencey chip. So he's got the silver shamrock logo on everything. He needs to take those magic chips that he made, and inside them contains chunks of Stonehenge. Yeah, you know how he does this? Well, he steals Stonehenge. Steal Stonehenge? Like, wait, what the fuck? How does he steal Stonehenge? Does he just have, like, some, like, lazy security guard or something? Is nobody watching? This is like, yeah, I'm a mask guy. I need Stonehenge. They never explain in the movie. Doesn't make any sense how he's able to do it. I mean, that's a pretty big deal. That'd be like if I stole the fucking Statue of Liberty and nobody... Fucking stupid. So then, once he has his masks made, he then needs to distribute them across the country. So then the parents buy the kids masks, and then they wear them. And in order to do this, he needs to create a massive marketing campaign to get the children to buy them. These 3 Halloween masks. Now, in order to do this, he has to use the Silver Shamrock song. Okay, wait a minute. I had to stop there for a second. This song, the Silver Shamrock song, is both one of the most irritating and catchy songs in movie history. It plays constantly throughout the film. I did a tally of how many times it plays in the movie, and it plays at least 15 times. That includes on the radio and on the TV. It's everywhere, and it just won't stop. It will drive you insane. Anyways, back to Cockface's plan. Okay, so after the stupid, obnoxious, catchy, so damn catchy / irritating song, the Silver Shamrock song, he needs all the children to wear the masks, and he's like, hey kids, got the big giveaway at 9, somehow affording this unbelievably expensive marketing campaign. I don't know how in the hell he's able to do this, so he's got to secure advertising for this on the 3-channel network, and also there's nonstop radio broadcasting, and yeah, he needs a lot of fucking money to do this. So, once kids have the masks, he needs to manipulate them with watch the magic pumpkin, kids. So, once kids are watching the TV, the magic chip goes off due to being triggered by the TV. Lasers and snakes and bugs come through the mask. Is it a portal? Regardless, kids' heads turn into mush. So the final phase, kids watching it on the TV, as it magic pumpkin goes off, kids equals dead. Cochran be like, LOL, I win. Fuck you, buddy. Fuck you. Smug piece of shit. Whew. Okay, that was a lot of work right there. But this guy's plan is so fucking insane that I felt the need to go over it. I mean, it would never work. They're a fucking novelty mask company. There is no way in hell that they can afford to do all this. I mean, at one point, they steal fucking Stonehenge. How in the hell do you steal fucking Stonehenge? Okay, I guess at this point I better talk about our main protagonist. Instead of the likable Laurie Strode in this movie, we have the unlikable Dr. Dan Chalice, played by Tom Atkins. Now, I like Tom Atkins as an actor and all, but in this film, I'm not that big of a fan of his character. I mean, throughout the movie, he seems more concerned about getting drunk or getting laid than showing concern for his actual family. You know, like a father should. After one of Dan's patients named Harry Grimbridge gets murdered by an android from Silver Shamrock, he goes off to investigate with the help of Harry's daughter, Ellie. As I was saying earlier, Dan shows little to no concern for his children, who he's supposed to be taking care of, and decides to go off with this woman that he just met, and of course, they fuck.
You fucking whore.
Alright, so Dan and Ellie make their way into the Silver Shamrock factory, where they are greeted by Cochran in all of his smugness. Ellie gets kidnapped, of course, and Dan gets to see a demonstration of just what happens when someone watches the magic pumpkin on the TV while wearing one of the Halloween masks with the chips in it. Now, as much flack as I give this movie, I gotta give it credit in one certain area. The death scenes are pretty memorable. They're pretty grotesque and are pretty creative. However, I gotta wonder something. Where the hell are these snakes and bugs coming from? Do the chips act as like some sort of portal and they bring these things? Or do they like create them from the material in someone's brain, the Stonehenge chips or whatever, their powers are kind of inconsistent, you know? Sometimes they shoot lasers and melt your face, and other times they create snakes and bugs out of nothing. I gotta know, what's going on? Come on, give me an answer, movie. Come on. No? Nothing? I figured. Anyways, so after Dan escapes his easily escapable death trap at the hands of Cochran, he finds Ellie, gets her, they activate some shit in Cochran's evil secret lab or whatever, causing all the chips to go off at the same time, and Stonehenge goes crazy. Bottom line is they all fucking explode, including that smug piece of shit Cochran in the process. I got nothing. I'm just happy to see him go. I wish it would have been more violent, but Cochran is gone. Probably my favorite part of the movie, honestly. Oh, yeah. Moving on. Anyways, Dan and Ellie escape the factory, and we get the reveal that something is up with Ellie.
You're a vampire!
So, yeah, Ellie is an android. Well, if that's the case, then why didn't she try and stop Dr. Chalice from destroying the factory and try to save Cochran? Anyways, so after the android, Ellie, or whatever, is destroyed, Dr. Chalice runs to his nearest phone and calls to get the network to have the TV commercials taken off the air. Anyways, the network somehow believes his crazy-ass story and manages to take the commercial off the air for at least 2 of the channels. Yeah, because if some crazy asshole who I've never met called me on the phone and started screaming to me about killer masks, I would totally believe him. Yeah, that's cool, buddy. We'll take the commercials off the air. I don't know who you are, but I totally believe you. After taking the commercial off the air for the first 2 channels, it turns out the 3rd channel is still running. Again, how can they afford all this? They're a fucking novelty mask company. So, for some reason, they decide not to take off the 3rd channel, and instead just let it keep going, and the movie just sort of ends. Yeah, that's it. I guess they all died or whatever. We will never know. The thing that bugs me the most about this scene is that they managed to take the commercial off of the first 2 channels, but for some reason, some special reason, they never took it off the 3rd channel. No explanation. Nothing. Nothing's given. Why? Why did they do this? Well, if you want the answer to that, I did a video with a fellow YouTuber, my good friend AJPunk15, where we try to explain exactly what happened to the 3rd channel. You can check it out in the description below. So that's Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. In all honesty, I don't hate this movie. I think it's just okay. There's some things that I like about it. The music by John Carpenter is great as usual, the kills are unique, and some of the cinematography is very nice. I commend the movie for doing something different with the franchise. After all, there's a lot of stories you can tell on Halloween instead of the same old Michael Myers storyline that concluded with 2. Over the years, the movie has gained a cult following, and I can see why. There are some neat ideas in the movie, however, the execution just wasn't there for me. There are too many plot holes, and the pacing at times really drags the movie down for me. Still, if you haven't seen it, go ahead and give it a watch and judge for yourself. So once again, thank you all for watching. I'm sorry it took so long for this review to come out, but it's finally out, so at least that's a good thing. And yeah, I don't really have an elaborate ending planned for this review. I know you're probably expecting me to do something involving Silver Shamrock, but no. Silver Shamrock is not going to be a part of this. All these reviews don't have to end elaborately, They could just end. Nothing special has to happen just because this is Halloween 3 and it's the only, different one in the series. So yeah, I'm just going to say goodbye, and I'll see you next time, which shouldn't take nearly as long. Nothing else to say, but take care now, Happy New Year, and yeah, goodbye. Hello everybody, and welcome into the 4th review in my Halloween series of reviews. Today we're going to be taking a look at one of my favorite entries in the series, Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. Released in the year 1988, a mere 10 years after the original film, Halloween 4 sees the return of Michael Myers back into the franchise. You see, after his absence in Halloween 3, well, sort of, he does appear in the movie on one of the TV screens when Dr. Chalice is at the bar where they are playing the first Halloween movie, so he is technically in the movie, he's just not part of the focus. Still, most fans came out of Halloween 3 both baffled and confused as to how the third movie had nothing to do with the previous two films. I understand that they wanted to make it an anthology series and move away from the whole Michael Myers story, but I feel like they didn't do it in the best way. I feel like that if they at least had one recurring character from the previous two films, then the film would have been better received. However, since the filmmakers ended up going in the direction that they went with in Halloween 3, the backlash over that film would eventually lead to them bringing back Michael Myers for 4. So, now that our brief little history lesson is out of the way, it is now time for us to dive right into...
Halloween 4!
Jesus Christ!
What's up, Sean?
Like, seriously, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you?
You know, I thought I would surprise you and, like, help you out with your movie review of Halloween 4.
You could have called. Or at least told me you were stopping by.
Like, I could have, but, like, that wouldn't have been nearly as fun, though.
It's still a dick move.
Not sure what your point is, but, like, do you think you would, you know, let me help you out, or... Come on.
Jesus Christ. Fine. Fuck it. Since you're already here, there's no fucking point of sending you away.
Great. Let's do it.
Okay, fine. Fuck it. Let's get started. Halloween 4.
Okay, but, like, before we, like, start, think we can move over to the couch? Like, I don't want to be kneeling the entire time.
Maybe I should let you kneel. Maybe I should, you know? But fine. Fuck it. Let's move to the couch. You know, since that's what you want to do, Steve. So as the movie begins, we get this great little opening scene where nothing really happens in it, and there's just some shots of various Halloween decorations.
The lacking music really helps, as it does a great job of setting the mood for the movie, as it leaves an overall eerie presence.
After that eerie scene, we see Michael Myers, who has been in a coma for 10 years, getting ready to be transferred, but not before this scene happens.
Just thinking about it. Give me the goodies. A decade ago, Halloween night, he murdered 16 people.
16 people? He killed 13 people, not 16 people. Let's go over this really quick. The other people who died in the movies, Judith Myers, happened in 1963, not 1978. Doesn't count as killing 16 people on the night 10 years ago. Cross that off. Cut it out. Didn't exist. So, the other victims? Okay, well, he killed a dog, Lester. Well, that's not a person, so you can cross that one away. And the other victim, Ben Tramer, you really can't blame that on Michael Myers. He got caught in a hilarious van explosion. So, Ben Tramer doesn't count.
So where does he get 16 people from? Anyways, so Michael is taken out of the facility so that he can be transferred to Smith's Grove. Now, why they decide to do this on a stormy night is beyond me, and without any sort of police escort.
Kinda surprising, considering that he apparently killed 16 people.
And while being transported, Michael hears about his niece and ends up killing everyone in the ambulance.
Boy, it's almost as if this was a bad idea to transport this man without any sort of police around. Wouldn't you agree, Stephen?
Absolutely. Now we're introduced to Jamie, the daughter of Laurie Strode, who apparently died in a car accident and wouldn't return until the series made money again.
The young actress who plays Jamie in this movie, Danielle Harris, does such an incredible job. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. You know, when she's actually, like, acting scared, you know, when she's screaming or something, she genuinely looks terrified.
You know, in movies, it's pretty tough to find some good child actors, but when you do, especially in the case of the Halloween series, when they found Danielle Harris to play this character of Jamie Lloyd, she knocked it out of the park. She hits a home run here. She's absolutely amazing in this film, and in the sequel. Anyways, after the ambulance scene, we find out that Dr. Loomis is still alive.
Okay, how the hell is he still alive?
We saw this guy and Michael Myers get caught in an explosion at the end of Halloween 2. They should be burned to a crisp. How do you like your Michael Myers? Well done. What about your Dr. Loomis? Dead and deep fried.
You know, I think I may have an explanation as to why he's still alive.
Well, what is that then, Steve?
Well, I have a clip from Austin Powers that may explain why he's still alive.
Well, then let's see it, Steve.
I only survived because her smoking carcass formed a protective cocoon of slaughtered human effluents.
Oh, well, that perfectly explains it.
Yep, there's clearly no other way.
So Loomis is pissed at the fact that Michael Myers was being transferred without him knowing of it. So he heads to Haddonfield to track Michael down, and on his way he encounters Michael, who had killed some mechanic, in order to recreate the classic outfit.
And after the encounter, Michael destroys Loomis's car, and Loomis is forced to hitch a ride to Haddonfield.
Meanwhile, in Haddonfield, Jamie's at school, and we get this beauty of a scene.
How come your mommy didn't make you a costume, Jamie? How could you? Her mommy's dead. Jamie's mommy's a mommy. Stop it, okay? Stop it! Jamie's an orphan. Jamie's an orphan. Jamie's
What the hell is wrong with these kids, fucking psychos?
Making fun of a child for being an orphan, it's fucked up.
It is. You know what? I wonder if these kids go around to other people telling them that. What's that, Bruce Wayne? Your parents were shot right in front of you and you're now an orphan?
Ha! Ha! Orphan! Orphan! Hang on, Sean, let me give it a shot. What's that, Littlefoot? Your mom was killed by a sharp tooth? Ah! Ah! Orphan! Orphan!
Wait a minute. I got another one. Steve? What's that, Simba? Your father Mufasa was killed by his brother Scar, and we do you think they're responsible for the whole thing?
Ha! Ha! Orphan! Orphan! Wait, I got one more. What's that, Joel from The Last of Us? Your daughter was shot right in front of you, leaving you alone in this world? Ha! Ha! Bad parent! Bad parent!
But wait, I got just one more.
Sean, let's just get the joke. Let's just continue with the movie review, okay? Are you good? Breathe.
Oh, God. I don't know what the fuck just happened to me there. I kind of just went a little insane with the voices. I started to sound like those little fucking pricks in the movie there. Those little cunt bastards. Oh, fuck them. I fucking hate those kids. I fucking hate them.
So after that horrific scene involving those little psychos, Jamie's foster sister Rachel picks her up from school and they go to pick out a costume for her.
Well, at the store, we're introduced to Don from Dazed and Confused, who is playing Brady, Rachel's sort of boyfriend.
And in the store, Jamie picks out her costume, which is almost the exact same clown suit that Michael Myers wore when he was a kid in the first movie.
After she snags her costume, Jamie has a brief run-in with Michael in the store, causing her to scream and break a mirror. What always bugged me about the scene is, how come nobody ever noticed Michael Myers in the store? He just flat out went in there and straight up shoplifted, while there were several customers around. Surely one of them would have seen him walking out of the store with a stolen mask.
After his car was destroyed, Loomis runs into an old reverend that gives him a ride back to Haddonfield. Now, this is one of the more intentional comedic scenes throughout the movie.
This guy only has one scene in the entire movie, but he seems like a very interesting character, and he is someone that Loomis can relate to. I want to know more about this guy and why he is the way he is. He's probably the best character in the movie. Plus, he sings.
Yes, we'll gather at the river, the beautiful, beautiful river. Gather with the saints at the river.
I'm a crazy motherfucker, but still a very cool character.
Arguably the best, until we meet this guy.
Hey, you. This city property. No trespassing.
Oh yeah, this is Bucky.
Yeah, Bucky with his Bucky hat and his Bucky shirt and his Bucky button and his Bucky underwear and his fuck every other Bucky but me personality. Bucky, no!
Meanwhile, Loomis makes it back to Haddonfield, where he tells the sheriff that Michael is back and on the loose. The sheriff's office then issues a curfew, telling everyone to stay indoors.
Which then leads to Michael cutting the power to the city and unfortunately Bucky's death. It is then when Dr. Loomis and the sheriff find Jamie and Rachel on the streets and they take them to the sheriff's house, where they will be guarded by a patrol officer.
But wait, what is Brady doing there? Rachel had to cancel a date they had in order to watch Jamie, and yet he's at the sheriff's house fucking his daughter.
You fucking whore.
And would you look at her shirt? Cops do it by the books, more like guys do it in my ass.
Whoa, Sean, just relax. We all know she's a slut.
Sluts. So everyone is on edge, including the rest of the townspeople, where some of the citizens form a lynch mob to go after Michael.
Yeah, and there's a really funny scene where one of them thinks they spot Michael Myers, and everyone starts firing their guns off, and they end up killing an innocent man.
You know what the funny part about all of this is? They don't receive any consequences for it.
Well, I guess that's what happens in Illinois.
After hearing about the incident with the lynch mob, the sheriff leaves the house to go investigate.
But it just so happens that Michael is in the house. He ends up killing the patrol officer guarding the front door, and also one of the best deaths in the movie, where Michael Myers takes a shotgun and he stabs the sheriff's daughter right through the fucking wall.
After killing off the daughter, Michael now turns his attention to Brady, Rachel, and Jamie. He starts heading up the stairs where they are all at, and Brady tries to shoot Michael.
And it turns out that Brady is a terrible shot, as he can't hit Michael, who's only 10 feet in front of him.
He's also a complete idiot too, because instead of reloading while running up the stairs, he decides that standing there and reloading is the best option. To quote Tony Stark, not a great plan.
Finish him! Flawless victory.
So after Brady dies, Jamie and Rachel make their way to the roof to try to escape, which then leads to Rachel falling off the roof.
Oh, come alive, Rachel. Please come alive. Don't be dead. You can't be dead.
Orphan!
Jamie then runs off and conveniently runs into Loomis, and they make their way to the school, and Michael follows them. Yeah, and apparently Michael had time to change masks because you can obviously tell that it's a different hair color than the one he previously had.
Yeah, in fact, the first time I saw this, I was actually really confused because I thought it was just someone else, but it ended up being just an obvious error.
Anyways, Rachel saves Jamie from Michael. They get picked up by the lynch mob and try to escape, but are then attacked again by Michael Myers, who somehow managed to sneak onto their truck. I assume he was probably hanging from the bottom of it this entire time.
Yeah, not sure how he was able to do that.
Yeah, he must work out. His core, that is.
So, in a pretty exciting climax, Michael then gets flung from the truck and is then gunned down by police, and that is seemingly the end of the movie.
That is until they arrive back at Jamie's house, and while Jamie's stepmom is running a bath for her, Jamie grabs some scissors and stabs the fuck out of her, setting up Jamie as the killer for the next movie. So that was Halloween 4, which, in all honesty, is actually a pretty satisfying movie, an overall really good entry in the series.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Halloween 4 is one of my favorites in the series next to the original. The acting is well done, especially by Danielle Harris as Jamie. Also, it's worth mentioning that this movie has a great rewatch value. I can watch this movie every day.
I couldn't agree more, Steve. The acting is solid all around, particularly from a very young Danielle Harris, and of course you're not going to get a bad performance out of Donald Pleasance. The man is always good. Personally, I think Jamie was a better protagonist than Laurie Strode was, at least in the first two movies that the two of them were in. But again, a lot of that is due to the acting of Harris, and I feel more willing to root for her because she is younger and more vulnerable than Laurie Strode, who was practically an adult at that point in the first movie. So, despite a few minor flaws, I found myself really enjoying this movie. If you have to check out any of the sequels, I'd say this one is a must. So that was our review of Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I actually did have fun reviewing the movie with you, Steve.
Same here, Sean.
Well, tomorrow I gotta review Halloween 5. I hate to ask you this, but do you want to stick around? We did well today. Review Halloween 5 with me. Please, I hate Halloween 5. You sat through the good one with me. You can at least suffer through a shitty one.
You know what, Sean? Fine. I'll take you up on your offer. I'll review Halloween 5 with you.
Excellent, excellent. That's great, Steve. That's really great, Steve.
Can't wait.
Me too, me too. So, just come back here same time tomorrow. Don't sneak up on me. Just text me, knock on my door, call me. You know, people can still call nowadays. So
that works for me. Works for me, man.
Just come back tomorrow.
Cool.
Cool. All right.
Well,
I'll see you tomorrow then.
See you tomorrow.
You could go out that way. Not sure why he got a cane and why he's walking so funny. Probably getting pounded by a bunch of dudes in prison. That's why he's walking funny, like he's got to stick up his ass. Oh, well, shit, we're still rolling. I'll probably have to edit that out later. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Be sure to come back tomorrow as Steve and I review Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. We hope you enjoyed this review, and the Athun. Take care now. Bye-bye then.
The number you are trying to reach is currently unavailable. Please try again later.
Folks, goddamn voicemail. Fuck. Don't you just hate that? You know, when somebody says they're going to do something and they end up not doing it? It's really annoying, isn't it? That's how I feel right now. Steve's not here to review Halloween 5 with me. And I could go on and do the review solo, but it is the middle of January, and I'm not really in the mood to review these movies anymore. So, I guess I'll wait till Steve gets here, or if I hear back from him, If not, then I think we're going to delay these reviews, people, till October. Sorry to hear that, but this makes me think that in the meantime, I could review other things that I haven't done yet. What could it be? What kind of movies? I don't know. You'll just have to wait and find out. So, just want to thank you all for watching. Stay tuned. More is to come. Bye. Hello everybody, JTISREBORN here, and welcome back to another edition of my Halloween movie reviews. Oh boy, it has been a while since I last reviewed a Halloween movie. I promised to do them last October, but like every October, for some dumb reason, I get really sick or some shit happens. It sucks. Like, October used to be like my favorite time of year, and I want it to be my favorite time of year, but something always goes wrong, and it upsets me. So, I'm here now. I wanted to do this review with Steve. Remember the last time we talked about Halloween 4, but he's gone for some reason. I don't know where he is. So I'm just going to do this shit myself. I'm going to get this over with. Let's get to this movie. Let's talk about Halloween 5. But before that, I'm going to say some other shit, so let's roll the clips. A lot has changed over the last year or so since my last Halloween review. It has been confirmed that the next entry in the franchise is set to be released later this year, and Jamie Lee Curtis is back as Laurie Strode. And apparently it's supposed to, like, ignore the events of, like, all the sequels except the first movie. So they're going to sequel, like, they're going to make it to where it was, like, Michael Myers never showed up in Halloween 2. So basically, Halloween 2 onward has completely been ignored. So the Halloween series is, like, some parallel alternate universe shit going on here. And this movie's supposed to honor the sequels, but the sequels never really existed in the eyes of this movie. I don't know. It sounds kind of weird and crazy, but you know what? We're not here to talk about the Halloween 2018. We're here to talk about Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, everyone's favorite entry in the series. Actually, no, this one kind of sucks, but we'll get to the reasons why. Well, and here we are. Let's talk about Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. Truth be told, I don't really like this movie all that much. Not really. I like Halloween 4 a lot. I thought Halloween 4 was pretty sweet, but Halloween 5 is like, Halloween 4 is up here, and then Halloween 5 just, like, takes a nosedive right off a cliff and just, like, crashes and burns. It sucks. Halloween 5 is not very good. So, you've been warned. Full spoilers ahead. Yada, 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 blah, 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 blah. Let's get to the goddamn review already. The movie begins with a recap of the ending to Halloween 4, where they shoot the hell out of Michael Myers, although this time they throw dynamite down where Michael fell and he escapes through the river. So, after he escapes the grenade or bomb or whatever they threw down there, which wasn't in the last movie at all, I might add, he, falls into the river, ends up at some, like, hermit guy's hut, and then, here's the real kicker here. He tries to kill the guy, but he succumbs to his wounds, and he lies inside this hermit guy's hut for an entire year. And the funniest part about all this is the hermit guy doesn't alert the authorities. He doesn't alert, like, anybody about this, pretty much dead guy inside of, like, a coma that's just been lying in his hut for an entire year. Like, how did he survive this? Like, what the hell is going on here? I know he's got, like, the Curse of the Thorn, which they explain in 6 is how he gets his power, but Michael Myers pretty much had this, like, dead guy lying in his hut for a year, and he doesn't bother to alert anybody. And the funny part is just, like, Michael Myers, as soon as he wakes up, like 1 year later, kills the guy. Why didn't this guy alert the cops? Why? Like, I know he's some crazy hermit, but if there's a practically dead guy living inside your hut, you should do more. And the funny thing is, Michael Myers has just been in the same clothes for an entire year. No IVs or anything, no food or water. The guy just kind of let him lie there for an entire year. Like, what the shit is this? It makes no sense! Anyways, we soon find out that after the incident in Halloween 4 where Jamie stabbed her fucking stepmother, she's basically just been living in this clinic now for an entire year. She's mute, she's got a strong psychic connection out of nowhere with Michael Myers. Well, they get kind of hinted in the last movie when she has those dreams and stuff. So basically, with her psychic connection, it means she can see him killing people, and she knows where he is and such, and yada yada yada. You get kind of the idea. Now, the series never gives an official explanation as to how this whole psychic thing between her and Michael Myers works, but I assume it has something to do with, like, the Curse of the Thorn symbol that, you'll find on Michael's arm on this movie, and it's a plot line that's like basically the whole entire focus of Halloween 6. So when we get to talking about that movie, I'll explain more of it, but for now it's just like we get no explanation and it's just weird. So let's move on. Another thing that I found really disappointing about this movie is that it completely abandons the idea of Jamie being the next killer after she stabbed her stepmother at the end of Halloween 4. Why would you introduce this idea in 4 and not follow up on it, like, at all? You know, it would have taken the series in some interesting new directions by having Jamie be the killer this time instead of Michael Myers. Now, from what I heard, the original intent of the movie was to have Jamie be the killer, but the producers in that were just like, no. Throw that shit out the window. We want Michael. We want Michael Myers back. We want him to be the killer. That's what the fans want, which, you know, I love Michael Myers, just the next guy, but I think it would have been more interesting if you had Jamie be the killer, considering how, you know, Michael at her age started killing, and Jamie stabbed her stepmom half to death. But then it's like this movie, it's like, oh, or she really lived, and then, like, you know, she's just a mute, just going crazy, and it's just... Halloween 5, I hate you, Halloween 5, you suck. That's what it does, it just pisses me off. So Jamie is in this clinic, and we see that Rachel is still there to take care of her, which is good. I liked Rachel from the last movie, and seeing how far she went to protect her adoptive sister, there was a real good bond between these two, and it was the heart of the last movie. Unfortunately, Rachel gets killed very early on in the film, so that bond is gone between these two. The emotional connection for the last movie, this sisterly bond that was really strong in the last movie, it's gone. It's thrown out the window. So Rachel, one of the few likable characters from that movie, is gone. She's killed off. Just so we can make room for some new and obnoxious characters that I hate. I absolutely hate these people. None of the new characters are likable. They're all annoying. They're so ditzy. There's always sneaking up on each other. Blah! I scared you! Oh, you thought it was Michael Myers, huh? No. And then they pull some really stupid shit, like these absolutely terrible pranks. There's a part in this movie where they pretend that Michael Myers is chasing them, recreating Michael's entire outfit exactly right down to the shitty Michael Myers mask. On a side note, does anybody think that the masks in Halloween 4 and 5 look like total shit? Because I do. Anyways, these idiots act like they're about to get stabbed and reveal that it was all just one big joke. Hee hee ha! Whoa, we fooled you, cops! Oh yeah, that's a great idea, you guys. Let's just continue to pretend to murder somebody in front of these cops who have loaded handguns pointed right at them. How fucking stupid can you get? Ah, I'm gonna stab you! Ah, hey officer, check this out! I got a knife and I'm ready to kill someone! Oh, you got guns! Bam, you're dead! Fucking morons. I guess lucky for them, the cops don't do anything and they continue to act like a bunch of jackasses. Okay, I have to admit something here. As much as I hate this movie and I hate these people, this guy's laugh is amazing, and it makes me crack up every time I hear it. So, still don't like any of them, but the guy's laugh, it's pretty great. Thankfully, Michael Myers shows up and starts killing off all these obnoxious people, with his first two victims being these two as they try and have sex in a barn.
You fucking whore.
After he manages to kill off the remaining ditzy characters, Michael tries to go after Jamie, but Loomis and the cops show up and they basically set a trap for him at the Myers house. And wait a second, that's not the Myers house. It bears absolutely no resemblance to the house in the first movie. How do you go from this to this? It makes no sense. The houses don't even look anything remotely close to each other. And it's not like you could have just done some basic remodeling. It's an entirely different house that would have need to have been built from scratch. That's not the Myers house. It was just a simple standard house. That was kind of the creepy part about it all, was it was just kind of like your everyday place. This thing looks like a fucking mansion, you know, just in the middle of Haddonfield. It's like, it's huge, it's got plenty of rooms, it's just like weird design and stuff, and I'm just like, that's not the Myers house. It looks nothing like it. So why are you saying it is? And based on it, it looks like it's been abandoned for years, which means somebody must have remodeled it in the time that Laurie, like 1 year, and then like for the next 10 years they did nothing with it. So stupid. It's just so dumb. So dumb, Halloween 5. You're just so dumb. I hate you, bastard. Good God Almighty, what is happening to me? I'm going crazy this round. I'm sounding like a complete asshole. Well, more than usual, but like especially this review. I'm just kind of going crazy. I'm losing my mind talking about Halloween 5. Anyways, Michael shows up to the house, killing a few of the cops. He attacks Loomis and begins chasing Jamie some more. You know, as much flack as I give this movie, when the focus is on Michael Myers chasing Jamie in the house, it does get pretty intense here. There actually is some pretty good stuff in this scene. Like the part where she's climbing through the laundry chute and Michael's trying to stab her, to the part where Michael Myers unmasks himself in front of his niece. It's a nice little scene with the two of them kind of forming a little connection here. They try and keep him in the shadows a bit, and they don't try and reveal his face, but we actually do see it at one point, and he doesn't have any scars or anything like that, and it's just like, why? You would think that after all the abuse that this guy has taken over the years, you know, in Halloween 2, he was shot in his eyes were bleeding, he was set on fire, put in a coma for 10 years, they had his face all wrapped up in bandages, then Halloween 4, at the end, he's dropped down there, and he's put in a bomb, and he's just put in another coma. Nothing. He has, like, no scars on his face whatsoever. What is his secret? Like, is it the curse of the thorn? Does it give him, like, healing powers? Something. He should have some scars. Like, his hands, you see at some point, have some markings on her, but his face? Nothing. He looks just like a normal dude. They couldn't have put under some makeup or some burn stuff. Something. They do nothing with it. Why? Alright, so after that touching moment between Michael and Jamie, he quickly resorts back to his normal killer self and tries to kill Jamie. Although this time, Loomis manages to tranquilize him and he ends up in jail. But for some reason, when Michael is in jail, they don't take off his mask and let him wear it. What police station would allow this mass murderer to keep his mask on in his cell? What? You gotta be shitting me. Like, why not just have it to where his back is turned? You can film it that way. He shouldn't have his mask on. This movie is just... What are you doing? Why? Why do you do this to me? Why do you do this to the fans? You're not making any sense with this shit. No police station would allow a mass-murdering sociopath like Michael Myers to keep his mask on while he's in the jail cell. That should have been the first thing they took off. Or maybe it's because they're afraid they don't want to touch him or get near him, but you're going to have to anyways. He's not, you know, like... Well, he is pretty strong, but you're going to have to, you know, move him and shit. It's just like, it just blows my mind. What are you doing? So Michael is in his jail cell and everything seems to be going okay. That is until this man in black comes along and starts shooting up the place, looking all silhouetted like someone in an old gangster movie. Jamie then goes to investigate after she heard all the shooting. All the cops are dead, and it's revealed that Michael Myers is once again on the loose. Which means we get another goddamn cliffhanger ending! That they probably won't follow up on in the next movie. What are you doing? This ending is just so bad and unsatisfying. I absolutely despise cliffhanger endings in movies and TV shows because often we either never get a follow-up or any good payoff. Now, I don't mind if you tease a sequel. That's fine with me. But if you're going to do that, then at least wrap up your story. Like, the perfect example of this is Batman Begins. The whole story is wrapped up, they give the Joker card to tease the sequel. It's not like at the end of the movie, the Scarecrow somehow escapes, leaving Gotham in chaos, and Batman's just like, oh, you gotta wait till the next movie. No, when movies end with a sense of urgency like this, it pisses me off, because it leaves you without any real sense of closure to the story that you are trying to tell. Also, what if this was the ending to the series? This bullshit cliffhanger ending that Halloween 5 has. Would you be satisfied? I wouldn't be satisfied. I absolutely hate when movies and TV shows give us this bullshit type cliffhanger endings with no guarantee of a next season. Teen Titans Season 5, but you get my point. It's just like, that's going to be the ending to your show, or that's going to be the ending to your movie. Why? What are you doing? You're doing everything wrong. I'm yelling at a Blu-ray. That's how fucked up this ending is. That's how much it pisses me off. I'm yelling at something that's gonna do nothing. I can smack it around, I can throw it on the ground, I can bash my head with it. The Blu-ray's not gonna talk to me, it's not gonna explain why. So what am I doing here? What's the point? Why am I yelling about a movie that came out fucking 20, 30 years ago, whatever the fuck it did? It's stupid. Fuck Halloween 5. Fuck you. Good God almighty, what's happening to me? Now, for those of you who are wondering about the Man in Black, his identity is revealed in the next movie, but at the time this film was released, the filmmakers had absolutely no idea who he was. Which begs the question, if you don't know who the guy is, why throw him in there in the first place? You know what? I gotta steal a quote from Jurassic Park that perfectly sums up my thoughts on this character's inclusion, as well as the ending to this movie.
Yeah, but your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they didn't stop to think if they should.
Just replace scientists with filmmakers, and you pretty much have this whole movie wrapped up in a nutshell. Halloween 5 is a bad movie. The scares are lazy, there's too many dumb logic gaps, the new characters all suck, Michael Myers' mask looks awful, the kills aren't all that memorable, and the ending is complete bullshit! Outside of that, though, the only good things I can say about this movie are the performances by Danielle Harris and Donald Pleasance. Those two are great in this movie, just like they were great in the last movie, but even they can't save it. This is one of the worst in the series, and is one that I don't really enjoy watching. In fact, I really, really hate Halloween 5. It sucks, it offers me nothing good. The only good, I guess, is Danielle Harris and Donald Pleasance, but that's not enough to save the movie, and neither is that one asshole's obnoxious laugh. It just sucks. Well, that's going to wrap it up for my review of Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. I hope you enjoyed this review. I know I kind of lost it a bit in this movie, but that's just what Halloween 5 does to me. It makes me really upset that it exists, because I liked Halloween 4. I really did. And I liked Halloween 1 a lot. Halloween 2 is, so-so, and 3, just kind of like that, but like Halloween 5 is like the first one in the series where I'm just like, okay, this really, really sucks. And it isn't worth checking out, like, at all, except for maybe the performances of Danielle Harris and Donald Pleasance, which those two are good. Those two are great in these movies. But whenever they're not on screen, the movie suffers so much because I hate all the new characters, I hate all the scares, I hate the dumb plot shit that goes on in this movie, I hate the stupid fucking cliffhanger endings. Just bullshit, just fuck it all. Okay. Next Halloween review will be of Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. I will do my best to get that one out a lot sooner than like the year gap in between Halloween reviews. And I want to get some more content out there. And maybe I should just do these reviews like once a month, the Halloween reviews, with other content squeezed in between. But yeah, so there's that. Anyways, thank you to everyone who sat through this video, watched it with me. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Just let me know. Also, be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell for the little notifications, because I guess that's the thing now, so you know when new videos are uploaded. And if you want to talk to me on social media, I'm on Twitter at SeanJTKing. So we can just rant about Halloween movies, we can talk whatever. Because I've been asked a few times by some people, like, are you have any other social media accounts? I'm like, yeah, sure, I'm on Twitter. You can just follow me at SeanJTKing. That's it. That's all I gotta say. Until next time, until the next Halloween movie I gotta review. I actually am looking forward to the new Halloween movie that's supposed to come out this October. Jamie Lee Curtis is back. You got people who seem to like care. John Carpenter's doing the music again. So I feel like it's in good hands. I feel like these people know what they're doing. You got Nick Castle's back as Michael Myers, which is insane to think about. I'm thinking the new one's going to be good. I really am hoping for that new one. I think it's going to be the one where we're going to be like, you know what? We got some quality talent in this one. We got some people who wanted to end the series right, and I feel like that's what they're going to do. So hopefully it's great. Halloween 5 isn't. Halloween 6, we'll get to that next time. Trust me, that one's a mess too. So, thanks for watching, everybody. Peace out. What's going on, everybody? JTISREBORN here. Welcome back to another entry in my Halloween series reviews. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the 6th entry in the Halloween series, Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers. Both versions. That's right, this film is not necessarily known for the quality displayed in the filmmaking. It's mostly known amongst the fans for its various production problems that have plagued it. Hence why there are two versions of the movie, the theatrical cut, and then there's the producer's cut. For one thing, it took them forever to get this sequel out. There was the issues with what they did to Danielle Harris's character Jamie Lloyd, there were legal battles, there were various parties that were fighting over control of it, and after it scored poorly with test audiences, they went back for major reshoots which significantly changed the ending of the film. Not to mention, they couldn't bring back Donald Pleasance for the reshoots because he unfortunately passed away before the movie was released. No matter which way you look at it, this film was a complete and utter mess, and it definitely shows on screen. So sit back, grab your drinks and popcorn, or just, if you're sitting on the shitter watching this video, just sit back, enjoy taking that dump, and let's talk about Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. Warning, full spoilers ahead for this review, by the way. Okay, I'm going to talk about how they are similar and how they are different throughout this review. Both the theatrical and the producer's cut of the movie begin the same way with some obnoxious flashes, and we are introduced to Jamie Lloyd, now played by J.C. Brandy, going into labor. If you're wondering who the father is, thankfully the theatrical cut doesn't give us that answer, but the producer's cut does. And I'm not going to reveal who the father is just yet. I mean, it's despicable, it's disgusting, it makes no goddamn sense at all. So, I have to set that up, throughout the course of this review. I gotta go into, why that person is the father of Jamie's baby. It's just weird. Let's just move on. I don't want to talk about it just yet, but we'll get there. At some point in the review, I will reveal, fucking full-blown Maury style, who the father of Jamie Lloyd's baby is. Anyways, another difference between the two cuts is that in the theatrical cut, the opening narration we get is from Paul Rudd as Tommy Doyle, one of the kids that Laurie babysat in the first movie. But in the producer's cut, it's Dr. Loomis doing the narration. You can probably imagine which version I prefer. It's Loomis. Anyways, so Jamie gives birth, and the man in black from the end of Halloween 5 is there to try and take her baby and use it for some sort of evil cult purposes. But with the help of a nurse, Jamie is able to escape with her baby. However, Michael continues his pursuit of her. Despite the fact that the nurse tries to help Jamie escape, she decides not to go with her for some reason. Why wouldn't you go with her? I mean, the cult is going to figure out that you were the one who helped her escape, so why not just tag along with her and help her get the fuck out of there? I mean, they're going to find out it was you, and you know what, you end up dying in the next scene anyways, so it couldn't have hurt to, help go with her. I mean, what do you got to lose? I mean, you're already going to die if you don't go with her or if you stay. Not to mention, the way she dies, it's really fucking stupid. Michael manages to sneak up on her and then takes her head and stabs her in the head on some, random spike that's in the middle of this long hallway. What is the purpose of this random spike, in the middle of this long hallway, in this middle of this, whatever you want to call it, industrial warehouse or whatever? What's the purpose of it? Whose genius idea was it to be like, you know what this hallway needs? Spikes. Phil, why do we need that? That's a major safety hazard. Because they look cool, I guess? Phil, they serve no practical use. What are you doing? They're pointy. Phil, are you high? Yes. Alright, take them down. Take them down. See, that's what should have happened. They shouldn't even be there. There's no practical use for them. They're not something you hang your coat on. Just in the middle of this long, narrow hallway. For some dumb reason. They're just there so Michael Myers can kill someone. I guess they thought of that ahead of time, and maybe the cult put them there, just set them up kind of like death traps. It's like in a video game where you're just randomly somewhere and you see all this stuff just, spawn out of nowhere. Which, for no practical reason, it's there, but in video game logic, it's like, oh yeah, all this stuff would just be lying around. I don't know, it's just dumb. Anyways, so Michael continues chasing after Jamie and her baby. At one point, he chases her into some bathroom when Jamie escapes in the stall that just conveniently has this big fucking window inside of it. Shouldn't this window be on the outside of the stall? I mean, let's pause and talk about this for a second. I don't know about you, but if I'm in public and I gotta take a shit, the last thing I want is some huge fucking window inside of the stall for everyone to see me handling my business. Imagine this. You're in there, minding your own business, you're trying to take a shit, you look behind you, and some fucking creeper is standing in the window. It's like, Jesus, pal, get the fuck out of here! Ugh. Anyways, Michael continues his pursuit of Jamie, and in the theatrical cut, he kills her at the farm, but in the producer's cut, she manages to survive, but is pathetically killed off by the man in black at the hospital she is at after he shot her with a silencer. Both deaths are absolutely awful, and a complete disservice to the character that we have followed over the course of the last couple movies. Her death in both versions has no meaning or impact to it whatsoever. In the producer's cut, it is brushed off like it is no big deal. Not to mention, how in the fuck did the man in black manage to sneak in there without anyone noticing him? Wouldn't that be a bit suspicious, seeing a guy dressed like the Crow walking around in the hospital? Shouldn't there have been some armed security around Jamie to make sure that nothing bad ever happens to her? But my biggest problem of all is her death in general. It's like the filmmakers didn't even care about her at all. She was the main character of the last two movies, and you treated her like shit in this film. It's unforgivable the way they handled Jamie Lloyd's character in this movie. What was the point of following her in the last 2 movies if you're just going to brush her aside like she's no big deal? This isn't just any other typical character in the movie. This is Jamie Lloyd. She's the little girl we followed. She's the one we rooted for. And you just treated her like shit. Absolute shit. Make her death heroic. Have her die honorably. Have her die stopping Michael Myers or saving a bunch of people. None of that happens in this movie at all. It's absolutely unforgivable the way they handled her character. And it's impossible for us to get emotionally invested in her death because the filmmakers themselves aren't emotionally invested in her death in the film. It sucks. It's awful. I feel so bad for what happened. It just sucks, man. It just fucking sucks. Anyways, while all of this is going on, we see that Dr. Loomis is now retired, having ended his pursuit of Michael Myers and is now living in the countryside. However, his retirement is short-lived when an old colleague named Dr. Terrence Wynn, who if you watched the first movie was this guy who was speaking to Loomis here, arrives asking Loomis to come out of retirement so they can go back to work at Smith's Grove. While initially hesitant, he leaves his countryside home to go back to Haddonfield after hearing about Jamie. Afterwards, it's at this point in the film we're introduced to our new set of victims, characters that we're supposed to follow throughout the rest of this film. Granted, they're not as annoying or as obnoxious as the characters in Halloween 5. However, none of them are very interesting. First, there is Tommy Doyle, played creepily by Paul Rudd. Ever since his encounter with Michael Myers as a child, he has devoted most of his time to researching him and trying to figure out the method behind Michael's madness. Next, there is the Strode family. First, there's Kara Strode, our main female lead throughout the rest of the film. Her son, Danny, who throughout the movie is haunted by the Man in Black. There's the mom, Deborah Strode, and then there's her brother, Tim Strode. And lastly, this Biff Tannen-looking motherfucker, John Strode. He's the typical asshole of the movie. He's the character you're supposed to root for to die. No redeeming qualities, he's just a piece of shit. Anyways, both versions of the movie are similar in a sense that the characters meet up with each other. Tommy befriends Danny and at one point finds Jamie's baby and starts to take care of it. While this is going on, Lewis is searching for Michael while he continues his killing spree, by first killing Mrs. Strode before he moves on to killing the unlikable dickhead Mr. Strode. One of the few improvements that the theatrical cut actually has over the producer's cut is in Mr. Strode's death. In the producer's cut, he just gets electrocuted, he's like, ah, and then that's pretty much it. However, they do manage to improve upon this in the theatrical cut because instead of him just getting electrocuted like, his head fucking explodes, which is awesome because you can never go wrong with a good old-fashioned head explosion in a movie. It always looks cool. So, there's one improvement. His death's made more awesome and satisfying to watch. So, good for you, theatrical cut. You did one thing right. While Michael is busy killing Mr. and Mrs. Strode, Kara and Danny go to Creeper Tommy's house where Tommy reveals to us about why Michael is the way he is. Tommy believes that the reason Michael Myers has been killing people since he was a child was because he has been inflicted with the Druid Curse of the Thorn, an ancient curse where one child from each tribe is forced to sacrifice all the members of their family on the night of Halloween. If that's the case, then why is he off trying to kill every fucking random person in sight? If his end goal is to kill Laurie or Jamie, then just fucking kill Laurie or Jamie. Don't waste your time going after a random victim here, random victim there, random victim here, random victim there. Just get to the fucking point. This Druid curse makes no goddamn sense. Alright, so while this is going on, Michael goes and kills this random DJ for some reason before he goes ahead and kills Tim Strode along with his girlfriend Beth after they go and have sweet sex.
You fucking whore.
Anyways, Loomis meets up with Tommy and they go back to his house to join up with Kara and Danny where we finally get the reveal who the Man in Black really is, and it's none other than Dr. Terrence Wynn. That piece of shit! Yes, so Dr. Wynn has been the Man in Black this whole time. He's the one who inflicted the Curse of the Thorn onto Michael as a child and has been using Michael to study the power of Thorn. Why he chose Michael as opposed to anyone else, it is never explained at any point in this movie. Or any of the other movies. It's just never explained. Why'd he choose him? Who fucking knows? Not to mention, the idea that Michael Myers has just been the pawn of some evil cult this entire time is a terrible, terrible, terrible idea. He was a lot scarier in the first movie when we didn't exactly know his true motivations for killing anybody. The mystery of the unknown is what made him scarier. Now, at this point in the film is where both movies differ the most. In both versions, Tommy and Loomis go rescue Kara, Danny, and Jamie's baby from the cult at Smith's Grove. In the theatrical cut ending, Michael kills Wynn and his team of surgeons. Afterwards, Tommy confronts Michael, injects him with whatever the hell this stuff is, and proceeds to beat the shit out of him with a pipe before leaving. After this, there's an out-of-place clip of Loomis saying he has some unfinished business to take care of, and the theatrical cut ends with the sound of Loomis screaming. it's not a very satisfying demise, especially considering what we've seen in previous films. The first film, it was pretty eerie how he somehow managed to survive. Like I said, there was that mystery and intrigue. There was no sequels to build him up as the superpower. In the second film, he gets burned to death. In the fourth movie, he gets gunned down. The fifth movie, there's the cliffhanger ending with the Man in Black, which is more exciting than the ending to this one, because you're like, fucking cliffhanger endings. But at the same time, like, who the fuck was that? There's a little bit of mystery and intrigue. And here he gets, I'm gonna hit you with a pipe. And then they just walk away, and then we see his mask there, and we see the screaming. It's pathetic. It just sucks. Speaking of unsatisfying or just shitty endings, let's talk about the producer's cut ending of the film. In this version, Michael is shown under the cult's full influence. We even learned the disturbing origins of Jamie's baby.
The baby is yours, isn't it? Isn't it, Michael?
What kind of sick, fucked up shit is this? Uncle, Dad, Michael Myers? Ew, gross, get it off the screen, go away, ugh, God, ugh. This doesn't need to be there, there's no point in it. Besides, it doesn't even make sense. Why would the cult force Michael Myers to impregnate his own niece if he's just gonna have the baby be the final sacrifice anyways? You could have just made Jamie the final sacrifice. That would have been it. That way you can pass it on to someone else. It doesn't need to have him just, kill this baby for it. It's so wrong and weird and stupid. It makes no sense. If you're just gonna pass the curse on to anyone, it doesn't need to happen. It doesn't need to happen. It's wrong, it's sick, it's twisted, it's weird, and thankfully, the theatrical cut erased that explanation. Unfortunately, I know it now, but it didn't need to be here. It didn't need to be here at all. Move on. Just move. Let's go. Anyways, so in the climax this time around, Tommy Doyle manages to stop Michael with the use of these magic runes. That's right, Michael Myers, a seemingly unstoppable force who was shot, he was pushed off a roof, he was set on fire, he was run over by a car, he was beaten senselessly, is stopped by a couple of tiny little rocks. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you really? Oh my god. Oh, and not to mention, we get another genius cliffhanger ending. I'm being sarcastic when I say genius, because it's not genius, it's stupid. And in fact, we never got a follow-up to this ending. We never know what happens after this in this producer's cut continuity of this universe. Let's just get it over. Let's just go. Come on, let's move. Just fucking cut, move, get on. So, in the ending of the producer's cut, we see that scene from the theatrical ending where Loomis says he must go take care of some unfinished business. Although this time he goes back inside where he sees Michael lying on the ground. But when he goes to unmask him, it turns out to be Wynn, who had switched outfits with Michael. At which point he grabs Loomis's hand, inflicts him with the Curse of the Thorn. Loomis begins screaming like a madman. We see that Michael Myers is now the Man in Black. No matter which version of the movie you end up watching, Halloween 6 is still a bad movie. The storyline is weak, the editing is atrocious, the characters are handled poorly, not to mention both endings suck for the film, and while the producer's cut is a better version, it still has its fair share of problems. The whole uncle-dad thing is just wrong and didn't need to be there. Michael being stopped by a bunch of runes is embarrassing, and not to mention the way they handle Jamie Lloyd's character is pathetic. Outside of Donald Pleasance as Dr. Loomis, I could care less about any of the new characters in this movie. It's not to say that the acting is bad, it's fine, it's just that I don't find myself getting behind any of these new characters like I did when it was Laurie or Jamie. Well, there you go. There's my review on Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. In terms of the films I've reviewed so far in the series, this one is definitely my least favorite. I dislike it even more than I do Halloween 5, because at least Halloween 5, Michael Myers is intimidating and not stopped by a bunch of runes, and I still had, a good lead in, Jamie to follow. This one, it's just a mess all around, so, yeah, it's not very good. But I wanted to thank you all for joining me in this review. I hope you enjoyed it, had a good time. We can, discuss the movie more in the comments. And if you'd like to follow me on social media, you can follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/SeanJTKing. Comment, like, and subscribe. And I got one more question to end this video with that you can leave in the comments below where we can continue to discuss this. So, the endings of both movies. My question for you today is, how do you think the sequel would have gone to both endings of the film? Say they continue off the events of the theatrical ending, where do you think the sequel would have gone? What do you think would have happened afterwards? And if they actually continued off the ridiculous producer's cut ending, where do you think the series would have gone from there? Let me know in the comments below. We can discuss this further. Thank you to everyone who watched this video all the way through. I hope you enjoyed it, had some fun making fun of Halloween 6 with me. And next one is going to be Halloween H2O, so I hope you'll be back for that when I, at some point, get to that, hopefully sometime soon. And I'll talk to you all later. Thank you so much for watching. Take care now. Bye-bye then. Halloween 6 sucks. Go watch any of the other ones. They're better. Well, maybe. There's another one we haven't gotten to yet, which fans mostly consider to be the worst. So, yep. Alright, that's all I gotta say. Thank you so much for watching. Take care now. Bye-bye then. I'll see you next time. And JTISREBORN out. Bye-bye. Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me. In today's review, we're going to be taking a look at the 7th film made in the Halloween series, Halloween H2O, 20 years later. Kind of a dumb title, but just because the title of the movie is dumb, does that mean the movie itself is dumb? Let's find out. After the disaster that was The Curse of Michael Myers, the Halloween series was at its lowest point ever. Donald Pleasance had passed away, we didn't have a Jamie Lloyd, Laurie was said to have died in between films, there was pretty much nowhere left to go, and the slasher genre as a whole seemed dead at the time. That all changed, however, when in the year 1996, the movie Scream came out, went on to become hugely successful, spawning several sequels and completely revitalizing the previously thought dead slasher genre, as well as the horror genre as a whole, and it even spawned several slasher film knockoffs, like I Know What You Did Last Summer and Urban Legend. So now that we had these slasher movies coming out and becoming hugely successful, it was only a matter of time before we got another Halloween movie. Then, in 1998, we finally got that movie with Halloween H2O, although, unlike the other sequels, this one completely retcons the events to where the sequels 4 through 6 didn't happen, because, you know, Halloween 3 was its own separate entity and had nothing to do with the other films and was more of an anthology film. This one controversially ignored 4 through 6, but in hindsight, it was probably the right move to do because the way 6 was going, it was just a fucking mess, and there's really nothing you could do with it. And one more thing, this film was also notable for bringing back Jamie Lee Curtis, who hadn't been seen in a Halloween movie since the original Halloween 2 back in 1981. Directed by Steve Miner and produced by real-life boogeyman Harvey Weinstein, the film was set 20 years after the original, where we see that Laurie Strode has gone ahead and faked her death and changed her name to Carrie Tate, where she works as the headmistress for a private school and lives with her son John. Jamie Lee Curtis gives a really strong performance in this film as Laurie Strode, probably her best ever. We see that the events of 20 years ago have left a traumatic effect on her. She's got an alcoholic problem, she's paranoid, she's seeing things, and all this stuff is just building up and really putting a damper on her relationship with her son John. So, to help her relationship with her son, Laurie decides to allow him to go on an overnight field trip to Yosemite National Park along with most of the students at the academy. John, however, doesn't go and decides to instead just stay and spend time with his girlfriend Molly, played by a young Micheal Williams. As well as these two characters who are just there to die. Anyways, Michael soon makes his way to the school, but because it's security, he must find a way to get past the security guard / part-time adult romance author, Ronnie, played by LL Cool J. Now, much like in Deep Blue Sea, LL Cool J is a real standout in this movie. Although he's not given as much screen time and as much to do in this film as he is in Deep Blue Sea, he manages to bring his trademark charm and charisma to the role. Outside of Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode and Michael Myers, he's probably my favorite part of the film. Anyways, Michael manages to comedically sneak past Ronnie before going to start killing everyone off. Laurie soon realizes that John is in danger and goes to rescue him. Laurie manages to save John and Molly, but she's had enough of this bullshit. She's so sick and tired of living in fear of Michael Myers, so she decides that she's going to either finish Michael off once and for all or die trying in the process. She then sends John and Molly to go get the cops, she grabs an axe and calls Michael out. It's a really great scene because it shows just how far Laurie has come as a character since the first movie. Beforehand, she was running from Michael. Now this time, she's bringing the fight to him. This is the most intense part of the film, and I get excited each time I watch it. They kick the crap out of each other. Michael stabs her, she hits him with an axe, knives are thrown, and Michael goes through a table. It's all very satisfying to watch. Anyways, so Michael gets taken away in an ambulance, and that's seemingly the end of the movie. However, Laurie steals the vehicle he's in, and at which point Michael gets up and attempts to attack Laurie. I'm trying to emphasize the point that Laurie is clearly being attacked by Michael Myers in this movie, because the movie after this gives us some other bullshit explanation for what's going on. In the end, though, the car crashes, Michael gets pinned down, and Laurie chops his head off, definitively killing him once and for all, and ending this movie series once and for all.
You serious?
At At least that's what I wish I could say about this movie until the next film came along and fucked it all up. If the movie did end with Laurie killing Michael like this, it would have been the perfect way to end the series. Laurie wins and Michael finally loses. No more loose ends. Now, with that being said, let's go on to talking about some other stuff with this movie. There's a lot of things I do like about this movie. Then there's some stuff that I don't like, and then there's some stuff that just confuses me. Let's talk about the positives first. For one thing, the production value of it is pretty good. The movie is shot quite well, and the cast does a pretty good job all around. Nobody is phoning it in, and Jamie Lee Curtis is bringing her A-game to this movie. It really shows just how far she has come as an actress. I also like some of the nods to the original movies, as well as the references it has to other horror films, particularly in the scene where Jamie Lee Curtis is acting alongside her actual real-life mother, Janet Leigh, who is in the movie Psycho, and is even seen driving the same car. It's a fun little Easter egg, and who knows, maybe Marion Crane survived the events of Psycho, faked her own death, and went on to live in the same community as Laurie Strode. Perhaps this is just an FBI relocation location where they send off everyone who's under the Witness Protection Program, which now means that Halloween and Psycho are in the same universe. Or it's just an Easter egg, but I like to believe the possible crossover idea, because that sounds awesome. Norman Bates and Michael Myers at the same insane asylum talking to each other. That could be interesting. Although Michael doesn't talk. But Norman can talk. But then again, he doesn't say words. He's, quiet, peaceful, and crazy and stuff. But who knows? The idea of a Halloween Psycho crossover sounds cool, so I'm just going to go with that. Next, let's talk about the bad with this movie. Even though I've been mostly positive to this film, I do have some problems with it. My biggest issue is the awful half-assed jump scares. None of them are scary, and they get pretty annoying really quickly. I began to lose count with how many times people kept sneaking up onto Laurie and jump scaring her throughout this movie. After a while, it gets pretty old. There's other things to nitpick here and there, such as the mask not looking very good, some of the characters are written pretty thin, but my main issue was still the lame-ass jump scares. Now, before I end this video, there's one last thing I have to talk about, because it's bothered me for years. During one part in the movie, Molly and her friend are in their room, and on the TV in the background, Scream 2 is playing. But what I don't understand is the fact that in the Scream universe, Halloween is a film that they all watch. In fact, Halloween plays at the end of the first Scream movie. So how the hell does Scream 2 even exist in this universe? If Halloween is just a movie inside of Scream, does that mean that inside the Halloween universe version of Scream 2 and Scream 1 that there's another movie that takes the place of the original Halloween that they're referencing and constantly showing in the movie? Is it like in Last Action Hero when Arnold Schwarzenegger goes into that video store and instead of him being in the Terminator 2 movie that Sylvester Stallone is in it? What does it all mean? What movie takes the place of Halloween in the Halloween version of Scream 2 and Scream 1 if Halloween's just a movie in general? I'm going crazy now just trying to comprehend what is going on. Why even include that movie if it creates like some sort of like time movie paradox? Alright, I've rambled on long enough. Outside of Halloween 4, Halloween H2O is the best of the sequels. Is it amazing? No, it's not amazing. I have my issues with it, but it's still a good sequel that would have been a proper way to end the original series before the next movie came along to fuck that all up. Well, that's going to wrap it up for my review of Halloween H2O 20 years later. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to like this video, subscribe. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of the film, as well as what do you think that in the Halloween version of Scream 2, what film takes the place of Halloween? What's going on with that whole situation? I have no idea. I'm completely confused. Follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/SeanJTKing, the little bell for notifications, and we'll be back next time to talk about the absolutely terribly awful Halloween Resurrection, which is the end of the original Halloween series, although the new Halloween film is coming out this October, and it's taking place in an alternate continuity again. It's just the Halloween series continuity is just all fucking over the place. You know what I mean? So yeah, next time we're talking about Halloween Resurrection. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I'll see you next time. Let me know in the comments below about that whole Scream 2 situation inside of this movie, because I want to know everyone's explanation as to why that fucking even exists. So, yep. Thank you for watching. Take care now. Bye-bye then. I'll see you next time. What's going on, everybody? JTISREBORN here. Welcome into Halloween week. I'm so excited because at the time I'm uploading this, Thursday night of this week, Halloween 2018 is coming out, and I can't freaking wait. Jamie Lee Curtis is back. It's getting a good response from the people who've seen it, from what I've heard, and I can't wait. It looks like we're finally going to get that amazing Halloween sequel I've been craving for years. But I have some unfinished business to take care of with the Halloween franchise. There's still 3 films that I have yet to review. So we're going to start the week out. We're going to let the Dangertainment begin and take a look at what was once the final film in the original Halloween franchise before they went off to do the Rob Zombie remake series. So let's take a look at the one, the only Halloween Resurrection. Oh, God. Halloween Resurrection. What a complete dumpster fire of a movie. H2O was the right way to end this series. Michael Myers was clearly killed off, no questions asked, however they just couldn't let it go. They had to come back for more and it turned out to be a big mistake. Now, you may be wondering to yourself, how in the hell is Michael Myers back this time? We clearly saw in the last movie that Laurie Strode took an axe and just fucking cut his head clean off, dead. That's it, no more. However, this movie gives an explanation that, believe it or not, tells us that Laurie Strode had in fact killed the wrong fucking guy. Are you serious? The wrong fucking guy? Oh my God. You see, what originally happened was Jamie Lee Curtis and the writers wanted to end the series on a high note. It was the 20th anniversary. It was time to end the series. There were so many disappointing sequels. You know, Halloween 5 and 6 were just absolutely atrocious. And it was time to let the series rest for a while. But no, Mustafa Akkad himself had a clause that legally would prevent them from killing Michael Myers off. So he enacted that clause and is like, no, you're not killing Michael Myers off. It almost got so ugly to the point where Jamie Lee Curtis wanted to walk away from the film. But then, you know, writer Kevin Williamson came up with the idea, it's like, we'll do the paramedic thing. But Jamie Lee Curtis was just like, okay, we'll do that shit, but we have to have it to where there's no hint towards a sequel at the end of this film. It has to feel definitive. And it gave us a definitive ending. And it's a pretty badass ending, too. Yeah, this movie gives us that horseshit explanation that Michael had switched places with the paramedic, who then got his larynx crushed by Michael Myers, which rendered him speechless, so he couldn't talk. Okay, I get that he'd be unable to speak because his larynx was crushed, but if that really wasn't Michael at the end of H2O, then why attack Laurie? Not to mention, why keep the mask on when he can clearly take it off? It's not like it's glued to his face. It's not like Michael had some super glue and he stuck to his face. You know, if I woke up in the back of an ambulance or whatever it was, and had my body in like a morgue thing and I woke up and I'm trying to get up, I'd take the mask off right away. I mean, it's not like he couldn't do it. Like, the guy's literally reaching for Laurie and he's just like, and he's acting like he is Michael Myers. Michael Myers doesn't have some mind control powers. He doesn't. Why is this guy acting like Michael Myers when it wasn't him? So, because of all that bullshit, we see that Laurie had a mental breakdown afterwards and became committed to a sanitarium. Shortly afterwards, Michael shows up, although she was patiently waiting for him this time, and soon he begins chasing her again. Then, in one of the worst scenes in movie history, Laurie Strode dies after falling for Michael's tricks. Fuck this scene. No, seriously, fuck this scene. Laurie Strode dying within the first 15 minutes of this complete dumpster fire of a movie is absolutely disgraceful. This is a character we followed for over 20 years. She suffered through so much trauma. Michael has killed all her friends, nearly killed her son, just been a living hellhole for this person's life. And she dies within the first 15 minutes, acting like a complete fucking idiot. I really hate this scene so much because it completely undermines Laurie's intelligence. Why would she fall for Michael's tricks when it's clear he was trying to kill her with no questions asked? Not to mention, her death has no meaning behind it, and it leaves no impact on the rest of the film. It's almost like it belongs in a completely different movie. It also sucks knowing that despite all the hell that Laurie went through her entire life, and in the end, it didn't even matter. She was destined to die at the hands of Michael Myers. Laurie earned the respect of the audience and deserved to finally be able to kill Michael after all the terrible things he's done to people over the years. There is absolutely no justice in Laurie's death whatsoever. It's not like she was sacrificing her life to save anyone. She dies within the first 15 minutes. The most critical character in the Halloween franchise, outside of Michael Myers, dies within the first 15 minutes of this fucking movie. Why? Why? I mean, Michael wins. What was the point of us following her through all those different movies if she was just going to die pathetically in one of the worst films in the Halloween franchise? It just sucks, man. It just sucks. After a while, this shit gets old. I mean, I love Michael Myers, but there comes a point where he should pay for his actions. Well, now that Laurie is gone, along with the rest of the dignity of this franchise, the main chunk of the movie begins. The setting for this one is at the Myers house, where a group of throwaway characters win a competition to appear on an internet reality show known as Dangertainment. On the show, they must stay inside the house of Michael Myers overnight, where they all are equipped with all these different video cameras to try and answer the question as to why Michael Myers is the way he is. They of course find no answers. In fact, they find out that most of this was staged by the head of Danger Entertainment, Freddie Harris, played by Busta Rhymes. Now, I may hate pretty much everything about this movie, but there's one thing I do love. Busta Rhymes. Busta Rhymes is absolutely amazing in this movie. He is so fucking great. He's comedy gold. This movie is already terrible, but he at least brings me some entertainment value. I think the funniest scene in the movie is when we see Busta Rhymes dressed as Michael Myers talking to the real Michael Myers and begins swearing at him.
I said, what you looking at me like that for? Huh? You don't get it? You don't get it? Your shit ain't working up there or something?
Wasn't that just amazing? Oh, don't worry, it gets better. Watch. After Michael manages to kill off a bunch of the characters, he comes face to face with Busta Rhymes again, where we get this masterpiece of a scene.
So you want to be on Dangertainment? Let's see what you got.
Okay. I'm sorry. I know this makes a mockery of the franchise. Well, not as much as some of the sequels already have, but you get my point. But it's too fucking funny. I mean, Busta Rhymes is kung fu fighting Michael Myers. Busta Rhymes is kung fu fighting Michael Myers. It's hilarious. If the whole movie was just Busta Rhymes kung fu fighting Michael Myers, I'd probably say this movie is amazing. But it's not amazing. But this shit is. I mean, I can't get enough of it. I want the whole movie to be Busta Rhymes roundhouse kicking Michael Myers, going, wah! I mean, oh, good God, it's great. It's fucking great. Anyway, so the only two survivors left in this dumpster fire of a movie end up being Busta Rhymes and this girl named Sarah. At one point, Busta Rhymes gets injured and Michael turns his attention to Sarah. He corners her into the garage as the fire starts up. It appears that Sarah is about to be killed when suddenly...
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
Amazing. Just amazing. The amount of stupidity in this scene just brings me so much joy. I love it. I kind of do love this bit. I mean, as much as I hate the movie, Busta Rhymes kung fu fighting Michael Myers is... God, it's entertaining. It's a joy. It's a joy. It's just good. So, in the end, Michael is seemingly defeated, Busta Rhymes and Sarah leave to go live out their lives, and the movie ends on another terrible cliffhanger ending, where Michael opens his eyes, ready to continue his reign of terror, in a sequel that will never happen, because after this, they went ahead and did the remake. So that was Halloween Resurrection, a movie that, in all honesty, should have never been made. If they would have just made H2O and then went straight into the remake, I think we would have been better off. Aside from Busta Rhymes as Freddie Harris, I don't really see much appeal in the film. Sure, some of the kills are good and Michael is menacing as all hell, plus I do get a good laugh at how dated this movie is now. I mean, they reference Yahoo chat rooms and the fact that they want to be bigger than the Osbournes. You remember that TV show, The Osbournes, about Ozzy Osbourne and his family? Yeah, I mean, that's kind of funny to me, just seeing how completely dated this movie is. Other than that, though, everything else is either bad or forgettable. The characters outside of Busta Rhymes are completely disposable. Laurie's death was terrible and does nothing but hurts the movie. The cliffhanger ending sucks. And lastly, the biggest crime this movie made is that it exists. H2O ended the series on the right note. In fact, the final shot of Laurie holding the axe is badass and so very satisfying. She finally beat him, and the series was given a proper ending. But they got greedy and couldn't let it go. Which now, in hindsight, it has been rendered kind of pointless, seeing how after this movie they ended up remaking the original movie with Rob Zombie anyways, and now we have this new Halloween film that ignores all the sequels. So, they really could have just ended it with Halloween H2O and saved us all the trouble. We had a perfect out for the franchise, but they didn't take it. Oh well, at the end of the day, the movie exists, I've gotten over it, and most people should too. I dislike this movie, but I still don't think it's the absolute worst film in the Halloween franchise. I'd say that's either Halloween 5 or 6. Only watch this movie if you're a Halloween completionist. If not, I'd say skip it. It's not really worth your time, except for the Busta Rhymes stuff, in which case, watch it on YouTube. You'll get a good laugh out of it, especially the scene where he's talking to Michael Myers as Michael Myers, and when he kung fu fights him. It's so stupid, but by God is it funny as hell. So, yeah. with all that said, thank you all for watching this video. Be sure to come back tomorrow as we take a look at Rob Zombie's Halloween, which means we are done with Halloween Resurrection, so bye-bye, bitch. And hit the bell for notifications, subscribe for more Dangertainment content, like this video. I'll see you tomorrow. Rob Zombie's Halloween, it's coming up. I got a lot to say. It's going to be fun. So, thank you so much for watching. Take care now. Bye-bye then. Happy Halloween, and I'll see you next time. Peace. Hello everybody, and welcome back to Halloween Week. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the very divisive movie, Rob Zombie's Halloween, a remake of the John Carpenter film. Well, maybe not so much a remake, more like a remake and reimagining prequel all kind of rolled into one. Yeah, this film kind of gets a divisive rap. Some people liked what Rob Zombie was trying to do, others absolutely hated it, but I do think that there are some good things to it, and there's some definite bad things. I fall somewhere in the middle. Some of the things I like about it, I love Malcolm McDowell as Dr. Loomis. I think he was perfectly cast. Michael Myers is a complete badass, and there's some very intense sequences that put you on, the edge of your seat. However, there are some definite problems with this film, which we will get into. So sit back and enjoy Rob Zombie's Halloween. Unlike most remakes, this film doesn't just follow the same path as the original, but instead adds a lot of new stuff. The first portion of the movie is a prequel that focuses on the young Michael, where it tries to dive into why Michael Myers is a psychopath. However, this does bring us to the main problem with the movie, and it carries on throughout the rest of the film. In fact, I can pinpoint the exact moment within the first 3 minutes of the film where it goes wrong. Here, just watch.
Bitch, I will crawl over there and I will skull fuck the shit out of you!
Oh, I'll get the crutches for you. You did fucking loudmouth.
That's all that fucker does is cry!
Just about every single character in this film, outside of maybe Sheriff Brackett, Dr. Loomis, and maybe Danny Trejo for the 5 minutes he's in the film, is completely unlikable. I hate every single one of them. They're all very ditzy, annoying, or they're just complete pieces of shit sociopaths. I hate all of them. I want terrible things to happen to them in this movie. And this is a problem I've noticed with a lot of Rob Zombie's movies, is that he can't write a likable character to save his life. And if you are written kind of likable in one movie, then when you get to the next film, you're going to be turned into an unlikable prick. Just take, for example, Dr. Loomis. In this film, he's, sort of likable in this one. He's the only character I can get behind and root for. But in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, throws that out the window, turns into an unlikable, irredeemable prick. And it's very frustrating to see Rob do this consistently throughout his movies. Yeah, so anyways, in the flashback portion, we see that Michael lives with a dysfunctional hillbilly family, and the movie hints why he becomes a psychopath because of his background. The family consists of his sister Judith, who's a bitch, his mom Deborah, played by Rob Zombie's wife Sherry Moon Zombie, her asshole boyfriend Ronnie, and little Angel Myers, who as we know would end up becoming Laurie Strode, but more on that later. We also see Michael getting bullied at school by the kid from Spy Kids, showing once again that every character in a Rob Zombie movie is a complete and utter asshole. Anyways, shortly after getting picked on, Michael finally snaps and kills the bully, and then he later begins his murdering spree, killing Judith, her boyfriend, and that asshole Ronnie. One thing I will say about this film is that Rob Zombie does make the kills as graphic and as brutal as possible. They feel kind of unsettling, make you think back to like an old Grindhouse film. Whereas in the original, John Carpenter showed a lot of restraint. Rob Zombie just is like, fuck that, getting right in your face. These are the kills, they're brutal, they're intense, and you definitely feel unsettled by the time they're done. So, I guess that's an achievement. So, after his murder spree, Michael is sent to Smith's Grove Sanitarium, where he meets Dr. Loomis, played magnificently by Malcolm McDowell. At first, things are going okay between him and Loomis, but over time, Michael starts to deteriorate and finally snaps and kills this asshole nurse. Because as I have stated before, every single character must be as unlikable as possible, because I guess decent people don't exist in this universe. After Michael snaps, his mom shoots herself, orphaning Angel in the process, and that basically wraps up the first portion of the movie, because after this, that's when the rest of the movie turns into a remake of Halloween, because before that, it was just sort of like its own little unique prequel. As far as the first half of the movie goes, I do appreciate it for trying to do its own thing instead of just trying to simply retell Carpenter's vision. It takes a tone and it sticks with it. However, I do have my big problems with it. I hate all the characters. The dialogue at times is just absolutely awful to the point where it becomes comedic. And I do have an issue with Michael's origin. The thought of him just being the way he is because of some redneck family, it's not very interesting. It didn't really need like 40 minutes of us just listening to Ronnie and them just going kind of cuckoo crazy. It's just kind of lazy. It's just like, oh, it's because of his dysfunctional family. Well, that's incredibly simple and kind of lazy. But then again, why didn't his sister turn into a sociopath? You know what I mean? Also, I don't think the idea of him becoming a, unstoppable killing machine because of a dysfunctional family is nearly as interesting as not knowing why he became a complete sociopath from a seemingly normal family, as we saw in the original Halloween. I just don't think it's as scary. The unknown is sometimes scarier than what's shown on screen. Anyways, after the initial killings, the movie starts up 15 years later, where we see that Michael has been ingesting his steroids and growth hormones. I mean, look at how huge this guy is. He's built like a fucking tank.
I don't know what the hell you feeding him, but he is too damn big!
Tyler Mane is without a doubt the most imposing Michael Myers that has ever been put on screen. He's huge, he's intimidating. I feel like I would have a chance against the old Michael Myers in the original series, but when it comes to Tyler Mane's Michael Myers, if I saw that dude, I would run like hell, because I would have absolutely no chance at survival. Soon after we're introduced to Tyler Mane's Michael, he eventually escapes and heads back to Haddonfield. I should also point out that there does exist two versions of this movie, the director's cut and the theatrical. In the theatrical cut, Michael escapes by killing a bunch of cops who are escorting him. But in the director's cut, Michael escapes because some idiots working at Smith's Grove decide to bring a new patient into Michael's room and rape her in front of him, and he escapes that way. The scene is very disturbing in its own right, but I have to ask the question, who the fuck is hiring these people? Does nobody at Smith's Grove run background checks on their employees before hiring them? How do you think the job interview went? Well, Mr. Sociopath, after looking over at your file over here, your resume and such, and running a thorough background check on you, it's become apparently clear to us that you are in no way, shape, or form qualified to be working here. You clearly are, as I quote, a drunk asshole who likes to rape and abuse people. Which is exactly the type of person we want working here at Smith Grove. So congratulations, you're hired. You got the job. When can you start?
Monday after happy hour. That works good. I got a cross burning and shit afterwards, or before or afterwards, I don't fucking know. But yeah, I look forward to working with your patients and performing all sorts of acts.
Thank you so much. We look forward to working with you here at Smith's Grove, because here at Smith's Grove, we don't give a fuck about our patients. Anyways, after Michael escapes, this is where the movie starts to become more like the original Halloween, with Michael going around stalking Laurie and her friends. Although, it isn't done quite as well as when Carpenter did it. It's a lot more in your face, and the build-up just isn't quite there. Plus, as I've stated before, I really don't like any of the characters in this movie. I find Laurie and her friends absolutely annoying. Although I do give the movie props for bringing back Danielle Harris into the franchise. Although, I do have trouble buying the fact that she's a high school student, considering the fact that she was 30 when she was filming this movie. Anyways, if you've seen the original, then you know the basic idea of what happens. While a lot of it remains the same, they do tweak some stuff here and there. One key difference is that in this version, Michael kidnaps Laurie instead of just trying to kill her initially, so they can show her that she is a sibling. I actually kind of like this addition to the movie. It adds some new layers to Michael's character by showing that Laurie is, in essence, Michael's last connection to humanity that he has left. After trying to connect with Laurie, she stabs him and tries to escape. The chase scene here is well done. However, as I stated earlier, I could care less about what happens to Laurie in this version, whereas in the original she was a lot more likable. In the end, Loomis shows up and tries to save Laurie, but gets taken down by Michael, and in the end, Laurie shoots Michael in the head as the movie ends abruptly with her screaming. I'm not really feeling this ending. It's a bit too abrupt for me. I feel like the ending that suits this movie best is the alternate ending that they shot. In fact, it's the far superior ending, and it baffles me why they didn't go with that one as opposed to the one that they released that's in, the director's cut, theatrical cut, and so on and so forth. The alternate ending is by far the superior one. It's more emotional, there's a lot more depth to it. It's a bit more tragic too, because you see elements where Michael, he drops the knife, he kind of just stops. It's like he's finally, accepting the fact of what he's done, and then he just gets shot and gunned down. So it's a lot more tragic, there's more emotion to it, and, it ends and it's given some time to breathe. Whereas this one, it's just like, oh, movie over. What? What? The alternate ending is the superior cut, so if you get the chance, check it out. It's on YouTube. Let me know what you think. Do you like that ending more, or do you like the one that's on the director's cut ending, or the theatrical cut? I don't know. What's ever on this fucking Blu-ray that I have. But the alternate cut is better. Just saying. And that about wraps up Rob Zombie's Halloween. I don't hate this movie, but I don't love it either. It's a mixed bag of a movie for me, like the original Halloween 2 was. There's stuff I like about it. I found the first part more interesting with young Michael as opposed to the second half where it's more like the original. Outside of Loomis and Brackett, I don't really like any of the characters. The dialogue at times is just plain awful. It's better than a lot of the sequels, but still not great. I commend Rob Zombie for doing his own thing and not trying to copy Carpenter, but I still think the original is a superior film. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this review. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Be sure to come back tomorrow as we take a look at Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Thank you all so much for watching. Happy Halloween, and I'll see you tomorrow. What the hell did I just watch? That was weird and just plain awful. Now, I may be mixed on the Halloween remake, but I do like some aspects of it. That isn't the case with this movie. Pretty much everything about it is bad. So let's just get this shit over with and talk about this complete dumpster fire of a movie. This is Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. So the movie begins with young Michael Myers now being played by a completely different actor this time around. Something that feels very distracting because I feel like the kid in the previous film did a much better job portraying young Michael Myers than the kid we see in this film. I guess the reason that they recast him was because he got a little bit too tall, and they saw that as very distracting. Yeah, because completely recasting an actor isn't distracting at all. Anyways, so we see young Michael talking with his mom, Deborah, where she gives him a white horse statue, and he talks to her about how he saw her with it in a dream he had. Now, this dumb, pretentious white horse plot plays throughout the rest of the movie. It's something that was never mentioned or brought up in the last film. In fact, I'm willing to go out on a limb here and say that the whole reason it was written into this film was just so Rob Zombie could cast his wife in a significant role. Look, I get that he likes casting his wife in everything that he does, but her storyline clearly ended with the last film. You don't have to add some psychic, supernatural type plot element to this film when it clearly wasn't present in the last film. Anyways, the movie then picks up after the ending to the first movie, where Laurie gets taken to the hospital and Michael gets put into another ambulance, where one of the EMTs, played by Richard Brake, starts going off on Katie Vicking some of the victims that Michael had just killed. Jesus Christ, who keeps hiring these people? Is every single character in this universe a complete sick and twisted sociopath who likes to talk about necrophilia, raping people, backwoods hillbilly, trashy type characters? You know, Rob, I'm going to talk to you for a second, buddy. Not every single character has to be like that in your movies. I mean, there's normal people that exist who just do their jobs. In fact, by making all these characters sociopaths centered around Michael Myers, it makes him feel less unique and doesn't make him stand out quite as much. The only thing that makes him stand out is he's taller and bigger and stronger. That's it. Everyone else is sick and twisted, so what makes Michael so unique? It makes him feel less significant in his own movie if you have all these other weird sociopaths running around him. Thankfully, both of these sick people get killed off and Michael escapes. Afterwards, the movie seems like it's going to follow the direction of the original Halloween 2, but that just turns out to be a nightmare that Laurie has. It's something that happens quite a bit in this movie. You see, after the events of the last film, Laurie became traumatized, and so she starts having all these weird hallucinations throughout the movie, where she starts seeing images of Michael Myers and her mother Deborah in the white horse type getup, when clearly she didn't have anything to do with the white horse in the last movie. It's been well established, even at the beginning of this film, that the whole white horse thing was just handed to Michael Myers. Laurie didn't have a statue of it. She just sort of has a weird psychic mystical connection. I don't know what the fuck is going on anymore. Are you going like psychic magical type deal zombie, or are you going more gritty psychopath just change? It just doesn't make any sense. Just go on. We also see that it has been 2 years since the events of the first movie, and that Laurie is now living with the Bracketts, who are probably the only two characters that are somewhat likable in this movie. Laurie herself is even more annoying and bitchy this time around. On top of that, we find out that Loomis himself is also an asshole now, completely unlikable in just about every way, where he's a jerk to everyone and even tries to exploit the murders to sell another book. Even though Malcolm McDowell does a good job playing Loomis in this film, I absolutely hate the idea of Dr. Loomis becoming a jerk. Why does every fucking character in this entire movie have to be an unlikable asshole? Who am I supposed to root for? Michael Myers? No, he's a sick sociopath who goes around killing people. Laurie Strode? No, she's a whiny bitch. I guess the only characters I can sort of like are Annie and Sheriff Brackett, but they're not very significant to the movie. So who am I fucking supposed to root for? Alright, so while all this shit is going on, Michael is seen wandering around looking like a hobo when he starts seeing visions of his mom, and she tells him to go back to Haddonfield to reunite with his sister. Speaking of Laurie, she finds out in Loomis's book that he publishes that she is actually the sister of Michael Myers. After finding out about this, she kind of goes a bit crazy, goes drunk and starts partying, where she thereby gets captured. A bunch of people start getting killed off throughout the movie, a bunch of throwaway characters. None of the deaths really have any sort of meaning to them. The only one that kind of comes close is when Annie dies, but that's only because it's played by Danielle Harris, who, you know, was Jamie Lloyd in Halloween 4 and 5. If it was anybody else in that role of Annie, the death would have no significance or meaning behind it whatsoever, because why should I care about Annie Brackett in these two movies? She doesn't really do much, she's just kind of there, she's kind of a throwaway character in all honesty, and like I said, the death, if it was Jamie Lloyd dying kind of like that, it would have more significance behind it, because they do play some footage of like young Danielle Harris, and it's supposed to get you all emotional. I'm like, you know, maybe I would if it were Jamie, but this isn't Jamie, this is Annie Brackett, a completely different character, so I don't have that connection. They're trying to manipulate you by, you know, tapping into your love of some of the old Halloween movies, but it just doesn't work here, and it feels like, yeah, we wanted to give her a proper death to the series, but it just doesn't work for me because it's a completely different character. You know what I mean? In the end, we get this final confrontation where Loomis shows up and tries to save Laurie. However, he's killed off, and so is Michael. Then we get this final pretentious moment where Laurie is sitting in some psych ward where she sees her mom walking towards her with a white horse, and the movie thankfully ends. And thank God, because this movie just sucks. The characters are all awful, the kills are just okay, the white horse plot was hokey and not in a good way. Not to mention, this is kind of an ugly film to look at. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that instead of shooting the film in 35mm film like in the first remake, they shot this one in 16mm film. It doesn't look quite as clean or crisp as the previous film. Not to mention, this film feels rushed and tacked together. I have no idea what he was trying to accomplish with this movie. It kind of felt a bit experimental, like Rob was testing the waters to prepare for his next movie, The Lords of Salem. Well, that's going to wrap it up for my review of Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Halloween 2 is a complete dumpster fire of a movie. There's nothing really good about it. A lot of it is really pretentious, and it doesn't quite make too much sense, considering what they set up in the first film and now what they have now. The whole white horse plot thing was really stupid. It was just a cheap way to incorporate Rob Zombie's wife into the movie because he has to cast her and everything. And instead of, you know, he casts her instead of trying to do something that would service the story best. It's just one of those things. I'm glad that Rob Zombie movies are done. They're an interesting experiment, but they didn't quite work out. And with that being said, that's it. We're done covering the old Halloween films. And tomorrow the new film's coming out. I had a lot of fun doing this. I know it took like pretty much 2 years to get done. I even had a special guest in one of the reviews who, for some reason, kind of disappeared maybe like a year ago. I honestly don't know what happened to Steve. I guess we kind of had a falling out. I guess he didn't want to talk about Halloween 5 so bad that he just up and left. So, oh, well, fuck him then. But anyways, that's going to wrap it up. Be sure to come back tomorrow as we talk about the new film. I'm so excited. It's going to be great. It's going to be great, and I heard something. The flying fuck is that? Oh! Holy cutbusters! Oh my god, sir! 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 Don't worry, sir, I got you. Steve! Ah, fuck! It hurt! Move your arms. What the hell are you doing in here? Here, come on out.
I've been calling your name for like fucking 2 years, dude. I don't even know.
So you mean to tell me that you've been trapped inside of my storage room since January of 2017?
January 13th, 2017, that exact day.
That's the day I uploaded my Halloween 4 The Return of Michael Myers review.
Mm-hmm. It's a great review, by the way. I watched it a few times in there.
Oh, yeah. Know. It's probably your only form of entertainment. You know, the Halloween 4 Return of Michael Myers
really
review.
Is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah. This is how I came to be stuck in there.
Okay, so how does one go from reviewing Halloween 4 with me to being strapped to a metal cabinet inside of my storage room?
So you see, Sean, when we reviewed Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers on your YouTube channel, on January 13th, 2017, I went to my car to go home, and I turned my car on, and I adjusted my mirror, you can see, and I see him in the reflection in my mirror, Michael Myers.
So you mean to tell me that Michael Myers, fictional mass murderer, kidnapped you, dragged you down the stairs to my storage room, and duct taped you to that metal cabinet in there since January of 2017?
Yeah, and Sean, I got news for you. He's not fictional, he's real.
What are you talking about, Steve? Michael Myers isn't real.
He is real and he's right behind you. Don't worry, Sean, I got you!
Steve! Get a gun! Get a weapon! Steve!
Eat the Snickers. Not you when you're hungry.
Are you good now?
Yeah! Later, loser!
Bye.
See you later, guys! I'm off to Haddonfield!
Okay, I'll see you. Goodbye, Michael. See ya. Get lost. Don't ever come back here again. What a really weird guy. I mean, I did not expect him to sound like that. Well, he's gone now. I guess I can. Steve, come on, get up. Wake up, Steve.
Oh,
Wake up, Steve.
Sorry, I haven't slept in 21 months.
Oh, yeah, that's, yeah, I don't blame you. I
I'm
mean,
exhausted, man.
you know, maybe you should just head home. I mean, you smell pretty bad.
I smell awful.
I mean, you are just absolutely rancid and repulsive. I don't even want to look at you right now. But for all your troubles, for being abducted 21 months ago, I think, eat a Snickers.
Oh, thank you, Sean.
I mean, I got more over here, too.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, so, everyone, thanks so much for watching this video, and the rest of these Halloween reviews. God. I'm so excited. Tomorrow, the next Halloween film is coming out to theaters.
What? Is a new Halloween movie coming out?
Yeah, you didn't know? Oh, yeah, that's right. Jamie Lee Curtis is back.
I thought she died in Resurrection.
No. They're retconning all the other films out of existence except the first movie. So this one's just 40 years later. Michael Myers is back, and he's ready to start killing people again.
So it'll be like 75?
75?
Years old?
Yeah, it'll be in his 60s, I think. I don't know. Like late 60s or something like that. But
I'd like to see it.
Yeah, very true. It's going to be pretty exciting. So, well, thank you all so much for watching this. Be sure to comment, like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. Come back tomorrow. I'm going to talk about the new Halloween film. I'm very excited for this. Been waiting a long time. So,
I've been waiting a few minutes.
So yeah, it's like waking up from a deep sleep, and what you've been waiting for is there. So, all right. Thank you all so much for watching. Thanks for stopping by, Steve. Now get the fuck out of my house. Go. Get the fuck out of here.
Fuck you,
Get
Sean.
your goddamn shit out of here.
Shit.
All right. Now what else to say, but
Sean.
fuck you, Steve. Go to hell. Well, not much else to say, but that's all, folks.
That's all, folks.
I just took a massive shit, and Halloween Kills comes out today. It's gonna be a great day. Going to the movie theater, going to the movie movie theater, going. Gonna get a parking spot. Gonna get a parking spot. The fuck is this? Well, this sucks. I wanted to watch Halloween Kills, but the theater's closed and the movie got delayed to next year. Fuck! Go see what's on the shelf. Well, I never did do a proper review on the 2018 film, so I might as well talk about it. You know, usually when I talk about a Halloween film, my friend Steven is nearby. I better give him a call to see what he's up to.
Princess Peach hentai. Oh yeah, baby. Let's get it. Who the fuck is calling me, dude? God, I just put lotion on my hands, dude. Oh, it's fucking Sean. Hello?
Hey, Steve Meitzer. How's it going, buddy?
Sean, great to hear from you, man. What's up?
Oh, not much. Was just about to film my Halloween 2018 review. You want to join me?
Dude, there's a pandemic going on. Is that safe?
Yeah, sure. If you're uncomfortable, you can just wear a little mask there.
You know, I do have a spare hazmat suit just lying around. I could just wear that. You know what? I'm in.
No, that's okay. You don't have to go through all the trouble of putting... Oh, Jesus! Fuck! Steve, you're here, and, what are you doing here so fast?
I'm always here, Sean.
Okay, let's move over to the couch. Okay. Well, now that we're here, let's talk about Halloween.
But didn't you already talk about Halloween? Like the time I almost died?
Oh, no, not that one.
Oh, so the Rob Zombie remake.
No, not that one either. I mean the 2018 film that's also titled Halloween. Released in 2018 and directed by David Gordon Green, Halloween... why do they call it the exact same name as the original and the Rob Zombie film? It's not a reboot or a remake, it's a direct sequel to the original film, ignoring all the other films in the franchise. They should have just called it Halloween Returns.
Yeah, it would have made a lot more sense and cut down on the confusion.
I agree, Steven.
Anyways, after a lot of disappointing sequels and a continuously confusing continuity, the filmmakers decided to wipe the slate clean with this movie, placing it in an alternative timeline that ignores every single movie in the franchise except for the original 1978 film.
So in this timeline, Michael Myers was captured back in 1978, and also in this timeline, Laurie Strode is no longer the sister of Michael Myers, which changes things quite a bit. With Michael and Laurie no longer being siblings, it makes his motivation for going after her a lot more ambiguous, and it also makes him seem scarier because we do not know why he is doing this.
What made Michael Myers scarier in the first movie was the unknown. The fact that he acted on his own will, going around killing people for no reason. He was just the embodiment of pure evil, a force of nature that could not be stopped.
However, Laurie and Michael being siblings has been so well established within the franchise ever since the second movie that it's still kind of hard not to see them that way, especially since Jamie Lee Curtis is playing Laurie Strode again.
Anyways, as the movie begins, we pick up 40 years after the original film, where a pair of investigative journalists named Aaron Corey and Dana Haynes travel to Smith's Grove Psychiatric Hospital. The two of them are conducting a true crimes podcast that is centered around Michael Myers and the murders from 40 years ago. They even encounter Michael Myers and try to get a response from him. Aaron even presents Michael with his mask and tries to get him to speak, but they get no response from him as we lead into the opening credits.
In terms of the opening credits, they mirror that of the original Halloweens, but this time around, the rotting jack-o'-lantern reverts back to its pre-Reddit self. You could almost interpret this symbolically as the franchise getting itself back on track after a string of disappointing movies. It is as if the filmmakers were reassuring us that this was going to be the Halloween film that audiences have been waiting for, and for the most part, they do deliver on that promise.
And another great thing about the credits this time around is that John Carpenter is back to do the music for the movie, along with the help of his son Cody and Daniel Davis.
The score itself is easily the best it's been since Halloween 3 Season of the Witch.
Yeah, they even, update the original Halloween theme and add in some more memorable tracks.
Exactly. I think in terms of the new music, my favorite track on the album has got to be the Shape Hunts Alice.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
Yeah, it truly is amazing. And it's really great to see Carpenter back to his roots scoring the film, alongside the... he's got a son, he's got another composer alongside him. If you get the chance to, I highly recommend checking out the score. It's all on YouTube, so put some headphones in and jam out to that shit. You won't regret it.
After being unsuccessful in getting a response from Michael Myers, both Aaron and Dana travel to go see Laurie Strode. Now, Laurie this time around is still living in fear of Michael Myers. She now lives in a fenced-in home, she has been divorced, she drinks, she alienated herself from most of her family, and has become a bit of a paranoid survivalist, which even cost her custody of her own daughter. So basically, she went the Sarah Connor from Terminator 2 route.
Now, as cool as it is to see Jamie Lee Curtis play Laurie Strode in a different light this time around, and don't get me wrong, she has some amazing scenes in the movie. She's terrific. She's by far the best part of the movie alongside Michael Myers. But I gotta admit, I am a little bit tired of seeing Sarah Connor be the default characteristic to show drastic change in someone's character. Now, Sarah Connor is an amazing character, but I feel like it's always kind of the go-to anymore. When somebody's been through a traumatic experience, they immediately become Sarah Connor. And Sarah Connor is great, but with everyone kind of mimicking that, it makes that characteristic seem a lot less special. And same thing here with Laurie. What I really liked about Laurie in the old movies was her intelligence and how resourceful she was, and how that was what ultimately helped her outwit Michael Myers. She was not some backwoods survivalist like she was in this movie, and part of that is why I still prefer H2O Laurie Strode to this version. In H2O, she still struggles with the trauma of what happened to her when she was younger, and she still lives in fear of Michael Myers, much like the 2018 movie. She still lives in a fenced-in area like in this movie. She still has marital problems like in this movie. She still was this protective mother, but unlike the 2018 movie, she did not ruin her kid's childhood to the point where they were taken away from her. She was even successful, having become the headmistress for an academy, and did not have to become some social recluse to do so. Laurie showed strength by overcoming that path and trying to have a more normal life. While it is true she changed her name and moved away so Michael wouldn't come after her or her family, but in the end, she finally does overcome that fear by standing up to Michael in a pretty powerful scene. I also like how the climax of H2O showcases how her resourcefulness and intelligence is critical in defeating Michael in that movie, and she did all of this without having to become some sort of backwoods survivalist. Again, I just want to emphasize, I still like this take on Laurie. I don't dislike it. I just prefer the H2O characterization a little bit more. Now, I understand why they kind of went in this new direction a bit. It creates some interesting family drama. I'm just, like I said, a little bit tired of that type of characteristic. That just feels kind of like the default anymore. Don't get me wrong, there's some really great stuff here. Jamie Lee Curtis is allowed to play with some new layers to Laurie Strode and what relates to her character and also Laurie's family.
Now, actually, speaking about Laurie's family, let's talk about them in this movie. After speaking with Aaron and Dana, we are then introduced to Laurie's family. There is her daughter, Karen, played by Judy Greer. Now, while I think Judy Greer was a really good actress, I can't help but feel just a little bit disappointed that they didn't get Danielle Harris to play her daughter in the movie. I've always wanted to see Danielle Harris and Jamie Lee Curtis share the screen together in a Halloween film.
Yeah, I'm a little bummed about that too, especially considering the fact that Danielle actively campaigned to be in this movie, but unfortunately she wasn't given the chance to, much to the disappointment of most Halloween fans. Again, no disrespect to Judy Greer, but I think most fans, let's be real, 95% would have preferred Danielle Harris in this movie, because she carried that franchise for 2 movies, and she also was in the zombie films, but she unfortunately was kind of shafted by the time Halloween 6 came around, and damn it, I want to see them act on screen together.
No, man.
Come on, can we get something?
After Karen, there is her husband, Ray, who probably has the best line in the entire movie.
That was it. Oh, mother! Oh, man. I got peanut butter on my penis.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that that's a Danny McBride line. In fact, with McBride working on the scripts, he definitely injected a lot of comedy into the film, scattershot throughout the movie. for better or for worse.
Yeah, I think for me, the funniest part of the movie was when Vicky was babysitting Julian.
Oh, that kid was great. Like, it definitely had my whole theater laughing. He definitely stole the show. He did great. Yeah, he was great.
Lastly, in terms of Laurie's family, there was her granddaughter Allison, who sadly is one of the weaker points of the movie. She doesn't really leave much of an impact as a character, and is just sort of there. In fact, most of the teenage characters, for the most part, are just forgettable.
She even has a boyfriend who completely just vanishes at some point in the movie. He even goes to a Halloween dance with Allison, where he cheats on her at the dance.
You fucking whore.
Afterwards, he throws her phone away, acting like an asshole, and then that's it. We don't see him anymore. He doesn't get killed by Michael or anything like that. He's just gone, and instead it's his friend who's the one who gets killed.
So, what was the point of even having him in the movie?
Anyways, after we are introduced to Laurie's family, Michael is soon taken on a bus and transported to a maximum security prison. However, on the way there, the bus crashes and Michael escapes, and he makes his way back to Haddonfield, but not before he kills Aaron and Dana at a gas station so that he can get his iconic mask back.
Michael putting on the mask once again is a pretty epic moment, signifying the return of one of cinema's most iconic movie villains. I get goosebumps just watching it.
So after putting the mask back on, Michael makes his way back to Haddonfield and starts up his killing spree again, with one sequence in particular that really stands out.
The best scene in the whole movie is this whole sequence that's done in one take and is 3.5 minutes long and involves Michael going from house to house, killing everyone in his path.
From a technical standpoint, it is the best directed sequence of this franchise and does a great job showcasing the directing skills of David Gordon Green.
I also think that this sequence does the best job at capturing who Michael Myers is as a character, this truly unstoppable force of nature that kills without reason.
So, with Michael going around killing people, Laurie tries to find her family while the sheriff's department is aided by Michael's psychiatrist, Dr. Ranbir Sartain, to help in locating him.
Meanwhile, Allison has a run with Michael, but is soon rescued by Dr. Sartain and one of the deputies named Frank Hawkins, who was the person who arrested Michael back in 1978. However, while out driving, Hawkins encounters Michael and runs him over with his car. He then gets out his gun to try and kill Michael, but in a twist, he is killed by Sartain, who is revealed to have orchestrated Michael's entire escape.
Because he's batshit fucking crazy.
Yeah, the whole reason this dumbass let Michael out in the first place is because he became so obsessed with him and wanted him out in the wild to study him.
Yeah, and let's talk about this twist for a second.
I feel like this movie wouldn't have changed at all without the twist. It just seems kind of unnecessary. Like, it's not a good or bad thing per se, it's just kind of out of nowhere.
Yeah, I agree. When I was in the theater and I first saw this, I was just kind of confused. I didn't really know what to make of it, and after watching this movie on multiple occasions, it just feels off. Michael could have very well just escaped on his own will. You didn't really need this twist in here. It's just kind of one of those weird things that to this day, I don't really know what to make of it. I don't hate it, but I don't love it either.
Like, it doesn't damage the movie in any way, but it doesn't really do it any favors.
Although, it does lead to a pretty awesome kill.
After Sartain kills the deputy, he takes Michael and Allison to where Laurie is. At which point, Michael breaks out of the police car and just fucking destroys Sartain's head with his big-ass boot.
Afterwards, he kills some cops and Laurie's son-in-law, Ray, before we get the climax of the movie, where Michael makes his way into Laurie's Home Alone house and has a showdown with her.
After checking each room on the first floor, Laurie makes her way upstairs and goes into a creepy room with a bunch of mannequins. She finds Ray dead in the closet, and when she turns around, Michael jumps out at her and throws her out the window. After Laurie is thrown out the window, Allison makes her way through the front door and rushes to her mom in the bunker. Michael hears this and makes his way back downstairs and finds where they are hiding at which point Karen shoots Michael and he falls down the stairs into the bunker. Then with the help of Laurie, the three of them manage to trap Michael inside the bunker.
I love how Laurie Strode had 40 years to prepare for this, and this is all she has to show for it. Meanwhile, Kevin McAllister was able to booby-trap his entire house within a day and even had time to make a highly nutritious and delicious macaroni and cheese dinner.
Yeah, he's 8 years old. What's your excuse, Laurie?
Then, in the final scene of the movie, Laurie commits arson and sets her house ablaze with Michael trapped inside as the three of them escape, leaving Michael to burn to death. Which we know he didn't because there's going to be 2 more movies coming out.
So that was Halloween 2018, and while I do find some faults within the film, I think it's one of the best, if not arguably the best, of the Halloween sequels. The Halloween franchise was pretty much dead for at least a decade. It had hit rock bottom and needed to be rejuvenated, and that's exactly what this movie accomplished. It was well acted and well directed with a fantastic score. However, I do have some issues. Particularly with the ending, I do feel as though it is a bit rushed and doesn't really feel like a good finite ending to the movie. Compare this to the climax in Halloween H2O where Laurie faces off against Michael. That felt a lot more exciting, and it ended with Laurie cutting Michael's head off. That is before Resurrection came along and fucked it all off, but taking Resurrection out of the equation,
that still felt like a more finite ending than this one did. Same with the original Halloween 2's ending. With this movie, the ending just feels a bit rushed and doesn't really pack much of a punch. It isn't given time to breathe and just feels kind of abrupt. But other than that, I thought that this movie was really good. It had a lot of nice callbacks to the previous films. I especially like the Silver Shamrock Easter eggs, and I appreciate how they portrayed Michael Myers in this movie. He's not the pawn of some cult. He doesn't come from some redneck hillbilly family like in the Rob Zombie films. He is not motivated by killing his family. Michael Myers is a force of nature. He is the shape and is the pure embodiment of evil, acting on his own killer instincts for no reason whatsoever. And that is what made him so scary in the first place, and cemented him as one of cinema's most iconic villains.
And for me, overall, I really enjoyed this re-sequel. Sure, there was some lacking character development in the movie, you know, such as Allison and her boyfriend, but at the end of the day, it was such an incredibly fun watch with some great kills and some beautifully shot scenes. Specifically the scene where Michael goes from house to house and it's shot like a video game. But one of the biggest gripes I do have with the movie is the ending. Just felt like it was a little rushed and could have been better overall, but at the end of the day, this isn't a movie that was made for the Oscars. It was made to be an enjoyable slasher Halloween film, and I think it accomplished that and then some.
Totally 100% agree with what you just said there, Steve. And here's hoping that both Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends deliver satisfying entries in this franchise, and something great when they eventually do come out.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to those, and hopefully they'll be worth the wait, and I really hope that they improve upon the weak points of this film.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know what's funny, Steve?
What's that?
We reviewed a Halloween movie, and Michael Myers didn't try to kill us this time.
Oh my God, you're right.
Oh, it's wonderful.
That's
wonderful.
really nice.
I didn't see him here, I didn't see him there, I don't see him anywhere. Hey, Michael! Nothing.
Say something.
Yes, exactly. He's not here. This is fantastic. So,
Awesome.
You know, but I do wonder what he's up to.
Yeah, I guess we'll never know.
Yeah, I guess so. But, yeah, I think we said all that we need to say about Halloween 2018. I think it's a nice resurgence to the franchise. I really hope the upcoming sequels, when they do eventually come out, deliver a really good, satisfying conclusion to this franchise. It desperately needs a satisfying ending.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we said all we need to say. It's pretty good. We both recommend it.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
Yeah. I guess that's it. That's going to be it for the video. You got anything to plug?
Yeah, you know, I do stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/Steve Massey. I'm sure he'll put a link in the description for you. So
Yeah, I'll put a link in the description for everyone so you can check out his Twitch streams if you want to subject yourself to that kind of torture.
Oh.
Of course, I had to do it. So, once again, thank you so much for joining me, Steven. It's always a pleasure to have you on here. We got some unfinished business with it. I hope all of you who've been watching this video really enjoyed it, had some fun with us talking about Halloween 2018. And we will see you all next year when we talk about Halloween Kills. So that should be a lot of fun to talk about. But as always, thank you all so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Be sure to hit that bell for notifications. Like this video, subscribe it to the channel, share it with your friends, all that other fun shit. And as always, take care now. Bye-bye then. And I will see you all in the next video. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween, kids. You fucking, I'm gonna kill Steve and Sean next year. You take my words for it. But until then, I'm gonna spend my entire pandemic drinking fucking whiskey. Cheers. Happy Halloween.
It's October 1st! I love October.
What the fuck are you doing in my house?
Oh, Sean, it's October 1st. We gotta talk about Halloween Kills. We talk about Halloween every year.
God damn it, Steve! Fine! I'll review the movie. But get the fuck out of my chair!
Okay, God. Scary.
And now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about Halloween Kills. After the huge success of Halloween 2018, Universal announced that 2 sequels were to be released back-to-back, making this new wave of Halloween films a trilogy. Halloween Kills was supposed to be released in October 2020, while Halloween Ends was supposed to be released in October 2021.
However, in 2020, the pandemic hit, so instead we got Halloween Kills in 2021 and Halloween Ends set to be released this year in 2022, with director David Gordon Green and Jamie Lee Curtis returning for both sequels, along with a few other cast members.
Another interesting thing to note is that, unlike the 2018 film, this movie and the upcoming Halloween Ends were both given simultaneous releases in both theaters and also on the streaming service Peacock, which I still think is one of the dumbest names ever for a streaming service.
Despite being a simultaneous release and not making as much as its 2018 predecessor, Halloween Kills was still a big financial success at the box office and also did very well on streaming. But is it as good as its predecessor? Let's find out.
So, as the movie begins, we see Cameron feeling regret over what happened between him and Allison at the Halloween dance in the last movie, where he cheated on her with some harlot.
You fucking whore.
I am glad that this movie did bring him back, because one of my complaints in the last movie was the fact that he just kind of disappears from the movie. He acts like an asshole after getting caught cheating on Allison, and then is never seen again. It felt like they were setting something up for him, and never really did anything with it. I did find out later on that in a deleted scene he was arrested, but it was never acknowledged here.
As Cameron continues walking, he comes across Officer Frank Hawkins, who is still alive somehow, despite getting stabbed multiple times by Dr. Ranbir Sartain in the last movie. But hey, if Michael can survive all the shit he's been through in these movies, then I suppose I could suspend my disbelief for a bit for this guy surviving. Plus, Will Patton is a really good actor. The more of him, the better.
But hey, since Frank is still alive, it does mean that we get to see one of the best aspects of the movie, and that is the flashback stuff from 1978. The flashback stuff to the 1970s is incredibly well done. I don't know exactly how they managed to pull it all off, but these scenes look and feel like they're from a movie shot in the 1970s. The lighting especially looks great. They even managed to recreate the sets from the original movie, as well as Michael's mask, and it all looks fantastic.
Another amazing part about the flashbacks is how they brought back Dr. Loomis. It looks like they just filmed new scenes with Donald Pleasance. The only thing that really gives it away that it isn't him is that the voice is just a little bit off. Otherwise, it's extremely spot on. When I first saw this scene, I thought that it had to have been a digital effect. But, in reality, it turns out that it was just a really good makeup job.
Now, as much as I enjoy the flashback aspects in this movie, it does start to showcase one of the biggest problems with the film.
The people in this movie are extremely fucking dumb! During the flashback stuff, we see a young Frank Hawkins going after Michael Myers with his partner. They manage to track him to Michael's house. However, Frank's stupid partner lets his guard down, even though there's a serial killer in the house, and gets attacked by Michael.
Harry! You're alive! And you're a horrible shot.
So his partner dies, and Michael ends up getting captured as we get the opening credits of the movie, which are similar to the previous movie's opening credits, and we also get to hear John Carpenter along with his son Cody Carpenter and Daniel Davis back to do the music.
The score is once again really good, with a lot of callbacks to older movies and some new tracks added in as well, with the standout track being Rampage.
After the opening credits, we pick up where the last movie ended, with Laurie, Allison, and Karen getting taken to the hospital when they see a bunch of fire trucks headed to Laurie's house.
What did you think was going to happen, Laurie? You committed arson. You didn't think the fire department was going to come out and put out the fire? That's their job. It's what they do. Plus, you're not the only one that lives out there, you know.
So the fire department arrives to put out the fire, and one of them falls through the floor, and surprise, Michael Myers is still alive, having hid where Laurie kept all of her guns. Isn't it funny how she had all this time to prepare for him and set this trap, and yet she didn't think about the fact that he could hide where she kept all her guns?
So Michael manages to escape from the basement and emerges from the house in probably the most badass moment in the entire series. He then proceeds to kill a dozen firefighters at once.
At this point, he isn't Michael Myers anymore. He's John fucking Wick. Michael kills more people in this movie than any other film in the franchise. He fucks everybody up and is a complete one-man wrecking machine. Granted, a lot of it relies on the stupidity of others, like in this scene, why don't the firefighters all attack at once? But I'll let some of it slide here because it is pretty awesome to watch.
Penetrating, multiple contusions, she's losing a lot of blood.
Get this woman some Activia stat!
After Laurie gets taken to the hospital, we also get to see another familiar character, and that is Charles Cyphers back as Sheriff Brackett, now working as a security guard at the hospital, who feels like he is just kind of here more so for fan service, but it is nice to see him back.
The movie does bring back a lot of previous actors within the franchise. Aside from Sheriff Brackett, we have Nancy Stevens back as Nurse Chambers, who was killed in H2O. We also have Lindsay Wallace, played once again by Kylie Richards, that kid Lonnie from the first movie, who was also Cameron's dad. And of course, we got Anthony Michael Hall as Tommy Doyle. I heard that they originally wanted to bring back Paul Rudd to play Tommy from Halloween 6, but I guess he had some scheduling conflicts at the time for making Ghostbusters, but wouldn't that have been cool to kind of see him in this movie?
Yeah, it certainly would have been interesting. Much like in Halloween 4, where we had a group of men putting together a mob of sorts to try to stop Michael Myers, Tommy Doyle kind of does the same thing here. Having had enough of the sheriff's department and their lack of results, he puts together a bunch of people to go out looking for Michael, and to also warn the people of Haddonfield. This group includes Lonnie, Allison, Cameron, Nurse Chambers, Lindsay Wallace, and several other people. At one point they come across someone who they think is Michael, but it turns out to just be another one of the escaped patients from the bus. We'll talk more about that plotline in a second, because Michael has other plans.
We have Lindsay, Nurse Chambers, and two others driving around and notice two kids alone in a park. Lindsay finds out that the kids are being stalked by Michael near the playground. Michael sneaks up to the car while Lindsay is away and proceeds to murder Nurse Chambers and the other dude helping inside the car.
Oh no, not again.
This leads to one of the most hilarious death scenes in any Halloween movie. The other woman who was in the car tries to shoot Michael and misses multiple times, gets close to the car, and at the same time she pulls the trigger on her gun, Michael kicks the door open, hits the gun, and redirects it back to her face, where she shoots herself and dies! When I saw this scene with Steve in the theater, I screamed so loud and ejaculated with laughter that everybody in the theater just started looking at me like, what the fuck is up with this guy?
My jaw was just open from awe. It was incredible. After Tommy finds out about their deaths, he goes back to the hospital to check on Laurie, where he breaks the news that Michael is still alive. While he is there, the other escaped patient makes his way into the hospital, while Tommy is making a speech to the citizens of Haddonfield. The escaped patient is mistaken for Michael Myers, even though he looks nothing like Michael Myers, and it isn't like they haven't shown what he looks like in this movie. We gotta remember that Michael's mugshot was shown at the bar earlier on in the film, so they really shouldn't be mistaking this guy for Michael. He is then chased throughout the hospital while the mob chants, "Evil dies tonight!
Evil dies tonight!
Evil dies tonight!
Evil dies tonight!"
Fun fact, in case you were curious, I counted 30 different times that "Evil dies tonight" was said in this movie.
Another fun fact, in case you were wondering, the official Evil Dies Tonight drinking game has actually caused more deaths itself than Michael Myers has in this movie. Karen realizes that it isn't Michael and tries to help him by locking him in the hallway alone on the 3rd floor.
Not a great plan.
Now, she probably could just stand there with him and people would then see that it isn't Michael Myers and that he isn't really a threat, but we gotta remember one important thing. Her name is Karen.
However, the mob overtakes the floor and the patient finds his way to the ledge of a window and jumps off.
Damn! He ain't gonna be in Rush Hour 3.
As ridiculous as the scene is, I do kind of like the idea that Michael's madness has in some way infected the town of Haddonfield, turning them all into monsters. It makes his presence a lot more eerie, and it just shows like the powerful effect he has on the people around him. Makes him a little bit more threatening.
But while the mob is dealing with the shit across town, we are introduced to two new characters, Big John and Little John, who are a couple that live in Michael's old house. These two are probably my favorite part of the movie. They just have the best on-screen chemistry and are genuinely funny together.
A lot of that has to do with the actors who portray them. As soon as Michael McDonald popped up on screen, I immediately started laughing because I used to watch this guy on Mad TV, and he was very funny on that show.
Look what I can do.
After being pranked by trick-or-treaters, the two are on the couch together when they hear a knock on their back door. Little John investigates and sees nobody outside, but then the two investigate a knock on their front door, again finding no one outside. But then Little John realizes someone has entered the house through the back door, which he forgot to lock.
Instead of calling the police and staying together, they decide to split up, and Big John checks the upstairs while Little John checks on the main floor. Unfortunately for Big John, Michael is hiding in a room upstairs and kills him by gouging his fingers into his eye sockets. Definitely one of the more brutal kills in the movie. Little John hears the scuffle upstairs and rushes up to find Big John dead, and Michael standing in his window.
Michael. You've come home.
Another fun fact, Michael McDonald is the only man in history to ever be killed by Mike Myers and Michael Myers.
What an absolute legend. This man needs to be in more things.
While all this chaos is going on, Lonnie, Allison, and Cameron figure out that Michael is on his way back home based on his pattern of killings. So much like our favorite characters Big John and Little John, these three show up to the Myers house without even alerting the police.
You know, now that I think about it, this is Michael Myers' old house. How come there's no cops swarming around this place? These three can figure out that Michael's there, but no trained law enforcement officers can?
So despite all this talk about everyone sticking together, Lonnie decides to go in alone because people in this movie are really fucking stupid, and surprise, he ends up dead. Cameron and Allison decide to go in after him after hearing gunshots, and still without calling any cops to come to the scene because they too are also really fucking dumb.
Gee, I wonder what's gonna happen next! You guessed it, Michael, after coming out of the closet, kills Cameron and tosses Allison down the stairs. But luckily, her mom comes to the rescue to finish off Michael once and for all. And she finishes him off once and for all. And she finishes him off once and for all. And she takes his mask off and runs away.
You could have killed him right there!
Instead of finishing him off once and for all, she leads Michael out into the open, where an entire mob of people shows up and completely surrounds him. You got people with guns, Tommy with his bat, and wait a minute! Did this lady really just bring an iron to fight Michael Myers? Holy shit, she did! Oh my god, this movie is so dumb! She really came out here with that thing and was just like,
You can smash his face with an iron!
So the mob starts attacking Michael, and they seemingly have him beaten. After Karen leaves the mob to be with Allison, Michael suddenly gets up and kills everyone that was a part of the mob one by one. It seems that the writers wrote themselves into a corner with this one, as when Michael is killing the mob, it's shot in a way to where there was only Michael and his victim on screen at the same time, to most likely cover up the difficult choreography if it were going to be shot from a different angle.
Then we get to the ending of this movie, which admittedly is pretty sloppy. There are two versions of it. There's the theatrical and the extended cut ending. In both versions, Karen makes her way up to Michael's room and looks out the window, but it's revealed that Michael is behind her and kills her. How we managed to get past all the police officers and the fact that nobody heard her screaming bloody murder is beyond me. In the theatrical cut ending, Karen is just sort of killed off in kind of a rushed way, and the movie ends on a shot of Michael. While in the extended cut, Laurie calls her daughter and Michael answers the phone. Laurie says she's coming for him, and then it ends with her grabbing a knife and leaving the hospital.
Between the two endings, the extended cut flows a lot better as it shows more of what is going on with Laurie in the hospital during that moment in time, instead of just a quick shot of Michael after killing Karen.
So that was Halloween Kills, a movie that is really, really dumb, but it's also very entertaining at the same time. Kind of like a Halloween Resurrection.
This movie was a disappointment. I had such high hopes after coming off such a decent predecessor. Sure, it had some cool moments and some cool shots, and the music is really good, but other than that, this movie is just full of people who lack common sense. It definitely feels like a filler movie that doesn't even really mean anything. This is definitely more of an action movie over a Halloween movie, but who knows? Maybe they intended to make it as campy and corny as it is. But overall, I'm hoping Halloween Ends delivers a better beginning, middle, and ending with less stupid people.
Halloween Kills is a very interesting entry within the series. It was the first movie going into it where they announced ahead of time that there was going to be another movie set after this one. It was always intended to be the middle chapter, so I knew going into it that it was most likely going to end on a cliffhanger. Normally I'm somebody who hates cliffhanger endings, but I kind of knew what I was getting into since they said ahead of time that they were making this into a trilogy, so the cliffhanger ending didn't bother me quite as much, but it still feels rather rushed. As for the rest of the movie, there are certainly some pros and cons to it. For one thing, it moves at a very quick pace and doesn't fuck walk around. Like Steven said, it's more of an action movie with how much carnage is in it, and in terms of kills, there are certainly some memorable ones. The score is also pretty solid throughout. If you just want to see a movie where Michael Myers goes fucking ham, then this is the movie for you. He truly is unstoppable in this movie. It's also funny, whether it is intentional or not, but it does have some problems too. It suffers from middle chapter syndrome and feels a lot like a filler movie that's setting up the next movie, hence why Jamie Lee Curtis is sadly sidelined for this one. It's more about the town of Haddonfield as opposed to Laurie's story this time around. The movie's also really dumb as well. The characters constantly make really dumb decisions, and there's certainly a lot of logical gaps in this one that will leave you facepalming throughout its runtime. It's easy to see why a lot of people don't like this one. But if you're willing to look past a lot of the dumb, then there's certainly some entertainment value to be had with it. Oh yeah, and evil dies tonight or whatever.
Well, that's going to wrap it up for a review on Halloween Kills. I hope you all enjoyed watching it just as much as we enjoyed, doing it together or whatever. Whatever you call it. But, yeah, that's all I really have to say about this one. I guess we'll see you next time when we talk about Halloween Ends, since it's supposedly the last film in the series, until they inevitably reboot down the road. Yeah, they always do. So, yeah, I think that's all I got to say. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you all later. Alright, Steven. The review's over. Now get the fuck out of my house.
Okay, I will, but can you just walk me into my car, please?
Oh, what, are you scared, Steve? Are you afraid? Stop being such a little vagina. You'll be fine.
But, Sean...
No buts, Steven. I didn't even invite you here today. In fact, you broke into my house.
I didn't break into your house. Your fucking door was open.
I never left my door open. Oh, for fuck's sakes, what now? Come on, let's see what's going on. Suppose we better check around here.
Yeah. Why don't you check over off there, and I'll get off to the left here.
Okay. Nothing in here, Steve. Nothing down here. Better check upstairs. Let's go. Alright, here's what we're going to do. Let's split up. It's the smart thing to do. I'll check upstairs, you check on this floor.
Alright, sounds good.
Sounds good? I'll go this way.
I'll go this way. Kitchen's clear, Sean. Bathroom's clear, Sean. Wait a minute.
Alright. Upstairs is clear. Everything clear on this
Everything's
floor?
clear down here.
Everything's clear? Everything's good, Golden? Alright, well, you just wait here for a minute. I'm gonna go check the garage, and then everything should be good.
Sounds good.
Alright, sounds good. Nothing here. Fuck. back. Wait a minute. I'll just use my key. God, I'm so dumb. Ah. Presto. Oh, Steven. Steve. Steve. Steven, you down there? Steve. Steven. Steve. Steve. Steven. Steve. What the hell is this guy? Great, he's not picking up. Whatever, fuck him then. Happy October, I suppose. It's time to end this. Well, since this is the last Halloween movie, I better call Steven, see what he's up to, see if he wants to review it. After all, he was in the last 2 reviews with me.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.
Huh. Guess he's not answering. Oh well. So, Halloween Ends. Released in October 2022 and once again directed by David Gordon Green, Halloween Ends marks the conclusion to the recent Blumhouse trilogy of Halloween films and also concludes the Laurie and Michael storyline. Since its release, Halloween Ends has gone on to become one of the most divisive entries within the franchise. Some people like the fact that it tried to do something different instead of just copying what the previous 2 films tried to do before it, while others hated the direction it went in. Those mixed results reflected within its box office, as Halloween Ends went on to become the lowest grossing film in the new Blumhouse trilogy. Is it a satisfying conclusion to the series? Does it fall flat on its face? Or does it fall somewhere in the middle? Well, that's the question we're going to try to answer today. This is Halloween Ends. The movie begins on Halloween night 2019, marking a departure from the previous 2 films, which both took place on the same night back in 2018. I also wanted to point out that the opening credits utilize the same blue font from Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, a clever bit of foreshadowing that indicates to the audience that this movie is going to be going in a bit of a different direction than what other people are expecting. After this, we are then introduced to a babysitter by the name of Corey Cunningham, played by Rohan Campbell. I feel that Corey is either the character that makes or breaks this movie for most people, given that he is the lead of the movie. He's introduced as a typical babysitter and seems like a nice, normal guy with a bright future ahead of him. That is until a little shit named Jeremy, that Corey is babysitting, pulls a prank on him where he locks Corey in the attic. However, that turned out to be a pretty big mistake, because as Jeremy's parents arrive home, Corey kicks the door open, which somehow sends Jeremy flying over the balcony of the stairs, where he falls all the way down to his death. The first time I saw this, I think my jaw hit the floor because I wasn't really expecting to see something like this in the film. I actually kind of admire the ambition of the filmmakers here. This is a bold way to start the movie, and it throws a real curveball at the audience by not having the first kill in the film done by Michael Myers. After this scene, the movie jumps to 3 years later, where we get to see how the 2018 killings affected Haddonfield, sending the town into a bit of a downward spiral. We also find out that Michael has not been seen since that night several years ago. I'll get back to talking about Michael in a second, and the questionable creative choices surrounding his character in this film. But before that, let's talk about Laurie and some of the, well, questionable creative choices given her character in this film.
After the events of the previous two films, Laurie has tried to move on from Michael and began writing her own memoir as a means to heal. She bought a home and moved into it with Allison, and unlike before, this home isn't a trap, nor does it have any real security like her place beforehand.
Okay, I do have some issues with this, and I understand her character is trying to move on given what happened in the last two films, but I'm sorry, this feels very inconsistent with what we saw in the previous two movies.
Now, keep in mind that Laurie spent 40 years preparing for Michael after he killed some of her high school buddies. The death of her friends was enough to send her over the edge and become this paranoid, overprotective person without any real hope of changing for 40 years. Then, after she was proven right about Michael and he wanted this huge killing spree, she just sort of moves on from that and loses that edge that she had beforehand within 4 years. I'm sorry, but in the last two movies, we saw this man kill her daughter and son-in-law in the same night, as well as some of her closest friends. I feel like that should send her even more over the edge. Also, let's not forget that the extended cut ending of the last movie showed her on the phone saying she was coming for Michael. I just don't get why she isn't in full overprotective panic mode like she was before. It just feels off to me having her seemingly over the trauma within 4 years, especially after all the pain Michael has caused her and her family and the town.
Speaking of the town of Haddonfield, most of the townsfolk come across as real assholes in this movie.
I get there is a lot that this town has been going through, but so much of this behavior is completely uncalled for. For instance, when Laurie is out grocery shopping with Frank, the two of them share a nice scene together, then it immediately is followed up with this bullshit.
Took her voice! She cannot speak because of you! You were her neighbor? And you don't even know her name, do you? You tempted and you provoked that man when you should have left him alone.
Okay, first of all, how the fuck is that one lady still alive? Did you see what happened to her in Halloween Kills? Michael smashed a fluorescent bulb right through her fucking throat. She should be dead. Secondly, why is Laurie getting the blame for this? She did nothing wrong. Laurie lost a lot of loved ones and ended up in the hospital after she tried to stop Michael. She was the one warning everybody about how dangerous Michael was, and nobody listened to her. If you want to blame somebody, then blame Dr. Sartain. He was the one who freed Michael. This isn't like in Jaws when Chief Brody didn't close the beaches when he knew there was a shark out there and got slapped by Mrs. Kintner and scolded for it. There is no justifiable reason for anyone to be mad at Laurie over anything that happened in the 2018 killings.
Are the people in Haddonfield really this dumb? Yeah, I guess they are really this dumb. Just like this scene, which I think should have been cut.
So yeah, I have some issues with the stuff surrounding Laurie in this film, but backtracking for a quick moment to Frank, I feel like he got the short end of the stick in this movie. Now hear me out. After supposedly dying in the Halloween 2018 film, they brought him back for Halloween Kills, where he ended up getting a lot of the focus in that movie. The flashback stuff centered around him, and even at the beginning of the movie, he talks about how Michael needed to die, and that he was the one who was going to end up killing him. It seemed like they were setting him up for something big. Perhaps he was going to eventually get a second chance at stopping Michael after being the one who spared his life back in the 70s. But it never goes anywhere. In this movie, he doesn't really get much to do. Why go through all that trouble in bringing him back in Halloween Kills after he was supposedly killed in the 2018 film and not really do anything with his character in this one? In the movie, he has a few scenes he shares with Laurie that showcase that the two actors have pretty good chemistry with one another, and to be honest, there is actually a bit of charm and likability to them. I would have much rather seen the movie focus on the relationship between Laurie and Frank as opposed to spending so much of the movie's runtime focusing on Allison and Corey's relationship.
Speaking of which, let's talk about that aspect of the film.
After the 2019 incident where Corey accidentally killed someone, we see that he now works at his stepdad's junkyard. One day, while on his way back from home, he stops at the gas station to buy himself some chocolate milk when he gets confronted by a bunch of high school bullies.
Now, what makes this scene really funny to me is the fact that we have Corey, this adult man who was several years out of high school, getting bullied by a bunch of high school kids that are in the high school band. They're not even athletically gifted. They're like the scrawniest little shits you can think of, and they're bullying this grown-ass man. Why should anybody be afraid of these kids?
They're just so cartoony. They remind me of the types of bullies you would see in a Stephen King movie. I can at least get a good laugh out of them. Anyway, so during their confrontation with Corey, they try to get him to buy some alcohol, and he refuses, which leads to them calling him all sorts of names, causing Corey to snap and shatter his chocolate milk, damaging his hand in the process. Luckily for him, Laurie just happens to be there to witness the whole thing, and so she takes him to the doctor's office where Allison is at, and within 5 minutes of knowing each other, she's like all over him. She wants that dick pretty badly. Thus begins the start of their forced and very bizarre romance in the movie. It's one of the worst aspects of the film and takes up so much of the movie's screen time. There really isn't much going on with Allison in this movie, to be honest. At least anything that's interesting. In fact, her entire character in this movie for the most part is, well, I might as well use this running gag one last time before I retire it.
You fucking whore.
Exactly. She wants to hook up with Corey and leave Haddonfield after only knowing him for a couple of days, which I understand wanting to leave Haddonfield. This town really does suck, but give it some time. You just met the guy. After their little meetup at the doctor's office, the two of them decide to go on a little date together where they have a bit of fun, and it gets ruined when Corey just happens to run into the mom of the kid he accidentally killed and causes him to freak out and leave the party. He then gets into a bit of an argument about it with Allison, at which point he walks off, and then completely out of nowhere, the high school bullies just happen to show up. Because of course they do. How do they even know he was there? Were they just driving down their little car and like, hey, yo, look, there's Corey, let's go bully him. So they get into a confrontation where they end up pushing Corey off a bridge where he then gets dragged into the sewers. Then finally, 40 minutes into this fucking movie, we get our first appearance of Michael Myers, who is now a weak, decrepit, old man. Yeah, I don't really like this part of the movie. Why is he super weak now? In the last movie, at the end of the film, we saw him take out an entire mob by himself. He showed no signs of weakness or anything like that. And now he's barely moving around, he can barely stand, he's kind of decrepit, and he's just been hiding out in this cave for the past couple of years, just standing around, I suppose. In the last movie, he was made out to be John fucking Wick with superhuman strength, basically. The last image we saw of this guy, he seemed unstoppable, but now he's just kind of pathetic. See, I would have been more okay with this if we actually saw Michael struggle and injured at the end of the previous film. At least in something like Halloween 5, we saw that he was injured and then he ended up in a coma for a year before he returned to full power. And here we get none of that, and to be honest, it kind of takes away from Michael's threat level. So yeah, Michael is now in this super weakened state, and in a scene which I don't fully understand, Michael decides to let Corey live, and from what I can gather, he seemingly transfers his evil into him? It's never fully explained in the movie. That's just the way I'm interpreting it. Corey then crawls out of the sewer and is threatened by some homeless guy, and then he ends up killing him before running away. One thing that always bothered me about this scene is at no point does he go, hey everyone, guess what? I found out where Michael Myers is hiding. Here he is. This could have been a good chance for him to kind of gain some sort of redemption within the eyes of Haddonfield after they turned all their hatred towards him after Michael kind of disappeared many years ago, given all the killings and stuff. So this could have been his way of kind of, hey everyone, I know I screwed up with this thing, it was just an accident, but here's the serial killer who killed everyone else. Here he is. I don't know, I just feel like he should have said something. Yeah, it's at this point where the movie really starts to lose a bit of momentum, but at the same time, it does have some neat ideas. Remember how earlier on I was talking about how this town is full of assholes? Well, one of those assholes turns out to be one of Allison's ex-boyfriends. While her and Corey were on a date, this dude refused to take a hint and just leave them both alone. Corey stands up to him, and this guy doesn't like that, so he decides to stalk Corey, who then leads him into the sewers where Michael is hiding out, at which point Corey and Michael start to team up to kill this guy. I actually kind of find this to be a bit of a neat idea. The idea of Michael Myers having an apprentice of sorts and passing his power on to somebody else. It's a fresh idea for the series. It kind of reminds me of a more messed up version of My Hero Academia. Now, hear me out, let me explain. For those who don't know, in My Hero Academia, you have All Might, who is the symbol of peace, but is severely injured, so he passes his quirk one for all onto a young man named Izuku Midoriya, a kid who is constantly bullied for not having powers at all, while All Might tries to mold him into the world's greatest hero. While in Halloween Ends, you have Michael Myers, aka The Shape, who is severely injured and passes his evil onto a kid that is bullied named Corey Cunningham and tries to mold him into the new Shape. Like I said, it's kind of a neat idea, but the film doesn't really fully commit to the whole passing of the torch thing. After this, Corey and Michael proceed to work together to kill a few people, at which point Corey then decides to betray him for reasons and take his mask. That's right, Michael Myers, the unstoppable killing machine who took out an entire mob by himself in the last movie, is beaten by Corey. You could argue that he has the power of the Shape within him, but it just feels a bit off. So after this, Corey, who is now dressing up as Michael Myers, goes on his own killing spree, and what follows is some pretty entertaining stuff. There's a cool kill with a radio DJ, and Corey also gets to enact his revenge on the high school bullies. It is at least entertaining to watch. Once he finishes off with the bullies, he turns his attention to Lori, because after seeing so many red flags with this guy, she tells him to leave her granddaughter alone, but Corey was like, "Nuh-uh, if I can't have her, nobody can." So he shows up to Lori's house, dressed as Michael, and she shoots him. Then in a scene that pretty much just throws away everything before it, Corey stabs himself in the neck so that he can frame Lori for his death in front of Allison, who just happens to walk in at that exact moment before leaving distressed. Oh, and then immediately afterwards, Michael shows up to retrieve his mask and finishes killing Corey off so that we can get this final confrontation between him and Laurie. What are we even doing at this point? Everything in this third act just feels so disjointed. What was the point of setting up this character as the next Michael Myers just to kill him off so we can get Michael versus Laurie again? It just feels so out of place. So with everyone out of the way, we get the final confrontation between Laurie and Michael Myers, which was what all the marketing was billed as. It's not their most exciting showdown they've had. I still think the final showdown in H2O was the most exciting, but I will admit, I was in suspense wondering what was going to happen when I first saw this thing. Thankfully, this time around, Laurie actually does manage to kill Michael for good. No cheap cop-outs like we saw in Halloween Resurrection. This is the win Laurie should have gotten 20 years ago. Then what follows is a scene I actually kind of like. The police show up to the house, and so Laurie straps Michael's body to her car so they can dispose of it for good. I kind of like the fact that everyone was just like, nah, screw protocol, we don't want any more surprises. And so the town of Haddonfield comes together, minus Lindsay Wallace for some reason. I mean, they went through all the trouble of bringing Kylie Richards back for, 2 scenes, and she isn't even here at the end for this midnight procession scene. Anyways, at which point, they dispose of Michael's body by throwing his ass into an industrial shredder. I also kind of get a kick out of the fact that they kind of carry him to it like he's Tobey Maguire in Spider-Man 2. So Michael's body is completely 100% destroyed. There is no coming back from this. He's about as dead as you could possibly ever be. No more continuations for this timeline. Once he gets disposed of, Laurie and Allison reconcile with one another, and she finally finishes her memoir.
I've said goodbye to my boogeyman. But the truth is, evil doesn't die. It changes shape.
So with her memoir finally finished, the movie and the series ends on a bit of a peaceful note, with Frank going to see Laurie, and it parallels that of the original film, with some shots of the house and no real distinct breathing noises like before, showing Michael is finally gone for good. Although for some reason we see that his mask is there, which makes me wonder why they let her keep it. Shouldn't that be in like an evidence locker, or wouldn't you want to get rid of that thing? It probably smells like shit. But hey, at least the movie ends with Don't Fear the Reaper. So that was Halloween Ends, the supposedly final film of the Halloween franchise. My thoughts on it are kind of what I thought about it when I first saw it. I'm a little mixed on this one, but I don't hate it overall. Halloween Ends is a fascinating entry within the series. There's some bits of the movie I like for sure, but on the other hand, it has some major faults to it. In terms of the positives, the music is once again pretty great. It has a very different feel to it than the previous 2 film scores. The more I listen to it, the more it has grown on me, with the standout track being The Procession. I still prefer the 2018 and Kill scores over this one, but I still like the score overall. Plus, it was nice to see Carpenter and that come back to do the score one last time. Jamie Lee Curtis still gives a pretty good performance as Laurie for her final time playing the character, and it was nice to see her character get a happy ending for once. I'm glad that she got a second chance after the bullshit that was Halloween Resurrection took a huge crap on her character. I also admire the ambition of the filmmakers by trying to do something different with this one, instead of just doing the same thing we've seen over and over and over again. Bringing in a new character as the main focus in the final part of your trilogy is a risky move that didn't quite pay off for them, but I admire the attempt, and even if it didn't work, I still feel that the main actor Rohan Campbell does a pretty good job in the role of Corey Cunningham. There was a definite Christine influence with his character in this one. I think that if he was maybe introduced earlier on in this trilogy, then it would have probably gone over a little bit better. But he wasn't, and that's kind of an issue with this movie, is that it's meant to be a trilogy closure, and now all of a sudden they're shifting gears so far in another direction, it lacks consistency, and the movie feels a bit afraid to fully commit to a direction. If you were invested in the Corey storyline and wanted to see this whole passing of the torch thing from Corey to Michael, then the movie sort of shortchanges it a bit by having Corey die and not continue on with him as the new killer. Having Corey live on as the new killer would have tied into the ending of Laurie's memoir better, where she mentions that evil never dies, it just changes shape. But at the same time, with this being billed as the finale to the series, it is nice that it wraps things up. I feel like this movie works better as a more standalone movie instead of as a trilogy closure. What should have been the driving force of this movie based on what happened in the ending of Halloween Kills, where Laurie and Frank were left off in the hospital, really took a back seat here to something else. The inability to fully commit to the final showdown between Laurie and Michael versus a passing of the torch angle with Corey, I think is what hurts the movie the most. The ending confrontation between Laurie and Michael feels sort of tacked on at the end and takes away from the stuff they were doing with Corey. The majority of the movie was about Corey, and it just sort of gets forgotten about to make way for Laurie versus Michael. I feel that no matter which direction you go in, you can't fully win with this one as a result of the story decisions made here. That's the movie's biggest fault in my opinion, which is its consistency. It tries to juggle too many things and never fully succeeds at all of them. Sometimes the movie is a passing of the torch film, sometimes it's a bizarre love story, and other times it's a Laurie versus Michael story. There are just a few too many things going on in this one. It doesn't have the same really dumb stuff like we saw in Halloween Kills with the whole evil dies tonight thing, but it's also not quite as over-the-top memorable as that movie was. This movie doesn't fully work for me personally, but it doesn't completely fail either. However, I totally understand why this movie wasn't the most well-received film in the series. I guess it sort of depends on what you're looking for in a Halloween film. I know some people who hated Halloween Kills, but really enjoyed this one. Do you want more of the same? Do you like your Halloween movies to be a bit more over-the-top and unintentionally funny? Or do you like it when the series tries to go in a very different feeling direction, like this movie and Halloween 3 tried to do? I feel like Halloween Ends has the potential to become more beloved as time goes on, like with what happened in Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. As for me though, I don't see my opinion really changing. I like some parts of it, and others I don't. In terms of the Blumhouse trilogy, I'd say the 2018 film is still the best, and while I think Halloween Kills has a lot more dumb stuff in it, I do find it to be a more entertaining movie than this one. But I am glad to see the series be given a more proper conclusion. Could it have been stronger? Yes, it could have been a lot better. In hindsight, do we really need these two follow-up sequels when the 2018 film wraps itself up just fine? No, not really. You could have just ended it with the 2018 film and we would have been pretty good to go. But still, I am a fan of this franchise, and I do for the most part have a good time with these movies. Even if they aren't always the best, I am glad I was there to watch them.
So that's it. That was Halloween Ends. No more Halloween movies for Sean. I can finally put this series to rest, because as we all know, they're never going to make any more Halloween movies ever again. Must be my phone. Oh, it's Steve. Hey Steve, where you at, man? I tried calling you earlier. Hello? Hello? God, I just hear your fucking heavy breathing. God, the signal sucks down here. I can barely fucking hear you, Steve. What did you do with Steven? Alright, that's it. You've been a pain in my ass for the past couple of years. You want to fight me, Michael? Well, here I am. Looks like evil's about to get its ass. Steve? Steven! Get me out of this thing! Hello, Earth to Steven! Get me the fuck out of this thing, you little shit! I've been tied up before, and it was a lot more enjoyable than it is now! Steven! Steve! Right behind you! It's Michael! No. It can't be.
Oh, but it is. Hello there.
Who the fuck are you?
An admirer, but you may know me by a different name. Connell Cochran.
The Silver Shamrock guy?
I'm more than just a Silver Shamrock guy. You also know me as the leader of the Cult of Thorn. Show them, boys. And now that I have control of Michael and your stupid friend, unlike last time, I will see this plan through till the end.
Why, Cochran? Why?
Do I need a reason?
Yeah, I think I deserve an explanation. I'm just some guy trying to review some movies and all this crazy shit just keeps happening to me.
I love a good joke, and this is the best joke of all. What on you and you stupid YouTubers.
YouTubers? Why YouTubers?
Do you know what today is?
It's Halloween.
Bingo. The Festival of Samhain. The last great one took place over 3,000 years ago.
The hills ran red with the blood of animals and of children. Get some new goddamn material. I've seen the fucking movie.
Very well then.
It was 40 years ago, in your time, when my little accident in the factory left me permanently disfigured. Not knowing if I succeeded or not. Years planning the ultimate joke, only for it to be taken away from me. When the accident in the factory occurred, I thought I was about to die. But instead, I ended up here in your world. I found Michael, but then I made a discovery. That would be you and your friends making these stupid YouTube videos, and you were all just so fucking obnoxious about it. Especially you, Sean. I knew that what my newfound purpose was, so for the past several years, I've been watching over you and your friends in this channel, waiting for the opportune moment to strike.
And now, that the planets are in alignment, I can finally play the greatest practical joke.
So you're gonna kill everyone like you tried to do last time?
Oh no, I thought of something much worse.
Worse?
Killing you is too easy. Takes the enjoyment out of it. So instead, I would be forcing you and your stupid YouTube friends to endure the worst torture known to man.
You don't scare me, Cochran. Whatever torture you have planned, I can take it.
When the clock strikes 9, you and every YouTuber will be forced to watch. The Last Jedi on repeat for all eternity.
You sick, twisted son of a bitch, Tucker! I swear to God, when I get out of this thing, I'm going to kill you! Do you hear me? I'm going to kill you!
Oh, you can try, Sean, but you won't be able to escape this one. You see, at 9 p.m. the signal goes out to every YouTuber's phone, computer, tablet, placing them under my hypnosis, forcing them to watch the thing that they hate the most, Star Wars The Last Jedi, for all of eternity. The ultimate practical joke. And that starts with you, Sean. And where the fuck did he go?
He escaped while you were monologuing, sir.
Fuck! Not again. If he escapes and finds help, it'll ruin everything we've worked to accomplish. Michael, after him. Not you, Stephen. I need you for other reasons.
Yes, sir.
Oh, this is not good. Not good at all, Sean. You are fucked. Time to call in some help.
I'm sorry, Sean, but I can't right now. I'm in the middle of, writing my next review.
Oh, really? What movie?
Well, my next review is Morbius. You know, it's Morbing time!
Alright, that's it. I can't do this anymore. I'm sorry, Dean. I'd rather die than listen to this cringe any longer. I'm hanging up now.
I am so sorry. I should not make that, meme. Please don't hang up. It's not what it looks like. It just left, okay? Just please don't hang up. Sean, please!
Goodbye, Dean!
Sean? Hello? Hello? Oh, damn it!
Shit, I'm running out of time. I better call Jack. This is getting serious. Pick up, Jack. Jack, it's Sean. I need your help with something really badly.
I'm sure it's something really important.
It is really important. This is life or death, man.
It sounds quite serious.
Of course it's fucking serious!
Yeah, well, I'd love to help you, but unfortunately you're listening to a voicemail. I'm actually stuck at Jurassic Park fending off dinosaurs. Not to mention my Andrew's not home yet, and on top of that, I've got a hologram doing my review show. If you require any other help, please call your cable operator or satellite provider. Thanks for calling the Big Check Films hotline. Never call us again. Bye!
Fuck you and your goddamn voicemail, you fucking piece of shit! Jesus Christ, you can never get help when you need it. Fuck! Who do I know that's an expert in all things Halloween that can help me in this situation? This is a bunch of fucking bullshit! Fuck! Come on, think. Come on. We're running out of time. Halloween expert. Wait a minute. I know the perfect guy. Oh, fuck, I hope he picks up.
What I gotta watch tonight? It's getting close to Halloween. I've pretty much been through everything here. Sean. Hello?
Adam!
Sean? Yeah, it's been a while, man. What's good?
Well, it could be better. Look, as much as I'd love to chit-chat around and all that stuff, I don't got the time. In fact, I really need your help with something. It's rather urgent.
Sure. How can I help?
Look, man, since you're the biggest Halloween movie fan I know, I need to understand something. How do you free somebody who's been inflicted with the Curse of the Thorn?
The Curse of Thorn. Do you have any runes, by any chance, to make an anti-Thorn symbol?
No, I do not.
Okay, well, in that case, you're going to want to destroy the originator, the person who passes the curse, so to speak. Sever the connection, and then you're fine.
Okay, so I need to kill Connell Cochran and Michael Myers then. Got it.
Sean, slow down. What?
Thanks a lot, Adam. I owe you one. Talk to you later. Bye-bye!
What a random-ass phone call. Strange dude.
Okay. I know what I need to do now. Deep breath, Sean. Deep breaths. Here we go. Ah, shit! It's just my Michael Myers stand that I keep in this doorway for whatever reason. I don't know. You big goofy goober Sean, you little rascally rabbit. Okay. Nothing in here. Jesus Christ!
Yeah, give us Snickers. We love you when you're hungry.
Are you good now?
Yeah!
Wait. Michael. Here. Eat a Snickers. It's ghoulish green. It's special Halloween-themed Snickers. You're not you when you're hungry, man. That was ghoulish green, you asshole. Oh, shit. Shit. Shit, AC. It's morphin' time! Dragon Sword!
So you think this is a good ending for the franchise, huh? We taste it. Oh, oh, hell yeah. Hello there. It's Halloween, Michael. I guess everyone's entitled to one good death.
down. 1 to go. Ha! It's over, Cochran. Michael's dead, and soon you will be too.
No, 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 no! This is outrageous! It's unfair! Why is it any time I play a prank some idiot comes and ruins it? Steven, after him! Kill him now!
Well, sorry, Steve.
Oh, my balls! Oh, my fucking balls! Oh, my balls! Oh, my balls!
Come on, Steven! You're supposed to kill him! That's it! I've had enough of you, Sean. I'm gonna kick your ass. So you gotta play games, huh? Power! Unlimited power! Power! Unlimited power! I don't understand. I followed everything so carefully. All I wanted to do was play a practical joke.
You don't get it, Cochran. The joke was never on me. It was always on you!
Oh, man. Why do my balls hurt? Oh, why am I in Sean's garage right now? What the hell happened? Oh, well, he's dead. Thanks, Green Ranger.
Hey, that's what friends are for.
Sean?
That's right, Steve. It's me, Sean.
I'm so confused right now. What happened?
Steven, it's a long story.
It was indeed. Steve managed to make a full recovery, while Connell Cochran and Michael Myers were defeated once and for all, and most importantly, nobody was forced to watch a shitty Star Wars movie. All was right in the world. I had done it. I had finally laid the Halloween series to rest. On to new beginnings, new reviews, and hopefully, no new nightmares.
Time for a nap.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
right, well, I'm back here. I clearly didn't sit for that 3.5 hours in here. I'm recording this the the day before posting it, because again, I didn't really have a Halloween special planned or anything like that. I just figured, you know what if I just put all my videos and put it in one giant compilation thing for everybody to check up in one thing, and plus have a nice little thank you to those who helped make it all possible, and maybe talk a little bit about the development of it or something like that. I don't exactly know where I'm going to go with this thing, but I don't want to overstay my welcome too much, because again, it is Halloween night, and some people are probably like, just get on with it. We want to go to bed or something. We've been here for all this time watching your maybe not as stellar Halloween videos. I don't know. Like, I was proud of it at the time. I do think I've definitely gotten better since that first video. You can even see like the enthusiasm in my voice and all that too, and just kind of the editing techniques and all that. But hey, you got to start somewhere, and I'm not going to go back and re-edit those things per se. I'd almost want to just kind of remaster them maybe, because like I said, going back and even watching that Halloween 3, I'm like, this could have been written a little better. I could have put this together a little bit more tightly, but again, it was a different time period. I'm just trying to get the videos out at that point, but I definitely feel like, okay, I wouldn't release that nowadays. I definitely want to put more effort into it, but hey, you got to start somewhere. So okay, I guess how it started. I'm a big Halloween fan. I wanted to talk about the movies. I think it was like 2016. I'm like, okay, I'll do a big special. I've been wanting to do like a marathon of sorts, because I hadn't done one of like anything in a while, like in terms of marathons, and even then I still haven't done a big marathon in a while. I used to be like much more faster with getting some of those written reviews out, because I was just like a machine, but then I like second guessed myself and I put way more detail and quality into it now. But it was always a good feeling when I had like a marathon. I think the last marathon I did was like my Kong week or something, unless you count like unscripted videos discussing other things. But anyway, so I wanted to cover them. I think I got, even the video I kind of explained, like I got sick, and then I decided, okay, we'll just cover the other things in like the other months of the year. Didn't get to that happen. I think like January or something. Like, okay, I'll talk about Halloween 3 or near the end of the year. I don't remember when it was released. It's timestamped in the video. I have to check again or something. But I covered Halloween 3, and then I was going to get to Halloween 4, and my friend Steve, who had been in a few videos on the channel at that point, we talked about it, and he's like, okay, I'll do the Halloween 4 video with you. Because like, awesome, sweet. Because Steve's a big fan of Halloween 4 like I am. So we had fun in that. We were laughing. I mean, I have an outtakes video with it out there, so you can check that out. I had outtakes videos, that one and the Halloween Ends video. The Halloween Ends video, we laughed our asses off recording that one. We were just like having a good time. It was that was a crazy one to shoot, but it was a lot of fun. So it actually took a lot more like to film that one than really anything else. So did Halloween 4. I can't remember all like what happened, but I think Steve couldn't make it for the Halloween 5 video, or I just want to kind of get it out there or something. I'm like, okay, I'll just do this one on my own, and then I'll bring you back later on, and then we'll collaborate on some other stuff. So that's kind of how Steven gets kind of written down. Plus, like, I wanted to bring Michael Myers into the video somehow, and we're trying to figure it out, because we want to do some of the skit-based stuff, because just analyzing the movie is one thing, but I miss doing the skit stuff. Like, to me, that's the more fun stuff to do. You don't want to I don't overdo it too much, because I want to keep focused on that, and it makes, like, for the storyline purposes, it makes it easier to follow when there's not as much in there, but it's more fun to film. So that's why Michael Myers was factored into that. Like, we wanted to get, like, a big fight in there at some points. Never did I expect, like, when I was making the first video, that this is going to lead up to you fighting your other friend, who's Conal Cochran, and with his Palpatine powers, and you turned into the Green Ranger. If you told me that, like, back in 2016 when I started this shit, I would have been like, you were out of your fucking mind. So yeah, so that happened. I did the videos, we did 4, and I started covering other things, and then I heard the announcement of Halloween 2018, and then like, shit, I gotta get these things done in time right before the new movie. And I think I released them right before they came out. Like, I think the Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 video released like the day before the 2018 film. So we were excited about that. We're like, okay, we'll wrap this thing up in a goofy, silly kind of way, because we didn't really have a camera crew to kind of film this stuff with Michael Myers and all that. And like, okay, we can't really put together like a big epic fight scene at like high quality. So if you can't do it that way, and you don't have the tools to do so, make it sillier. That's always kind of my goal. I'm like, okay, if I can't make this like legit movie quality or something like that, where it's like, okay, this is a really awesome action sequence, we'll just make it more goofy and comedic, because we're limited by the resources that we have. And like, my ambition, like, if I could, I'd be like over the top, more even crazier, but you know, you're just limited by what you can film on your own sometimes. So we just threw in the little Snickers bit at the end as just kind of a gag, and trying to film that with just the two of us was really kind of tricky. I'm like, we really needed a third person in there, but so did that bit. And then that was kind of the wrap up of that storyline and some of the goofy moments and all that. And then we got into the Halloween 2018. We're like, okay, we wanted to review that at some points. And then they announced, of course, the sequels and all that. And then the COVID pandemic hit. And so, like, we decided, okay, we'll post this, like, the day Halloween Kills was supposed to come out. And then we'll go, like, from there and such. So that happened there. And that's why Michael Myers only appears at the end. He's like, I'll get you guys next year. And our Michael is just kind of strange, to be honest. Like, it doesn't really make as much sense. Like, Michael Myers isn't one to really talk, unless you go by the Rob Zombie version. But we got a really bizarre version of Michael Myers in our stuff. As you can see, I'm recording this in my car. So yeah, we have a very bizarre Michael Myers that, like, factored into some of these videos. So we did that, and then the Halloween Kills was coming out, and then we also had Halloween Ends. So we're like, okay, we want to wrap it up in a really crazy, epic way with Halloween Ends, because that's where I'd been thinking for the longest time, like, how am I going to wrap this thing up? Because I want to factor in Michael Myers, but I also want to pay tribute to the stupid, crazy, like, Thorn stuff, or even, like, Silver Sharon. Like, how do I do something like that? But also, like, wrap it up in a nice, like, analytical video. So that's why we kind of had the cliffhanger ending of Halloween Kills, because we didn't exactly know where we wanted to go with the Halloween Ends thing, because the movie hadn't been out yet. So we posted that October 1st, right beforehand. We originally want to get that out, like, okay, we'll go see Halloween Ends, and we'll try and get it out by October 31st. Little did I know it would take a lot longer than that. So Halloween Ends finally released. Very divisive kind of movie. I had done like an after the movie on it where I was like, I don't know what the hell to think of this movie. So did that, and then it was just a matter of getting everybody together. It was like 2022. So yeah, like, and then 2023 was just like, okay, I wanted to get it out like the next year. That didn't happen. And then it had just been on my mind for like almost 2 years sitting down. I'm like, how the hell am I going to wrap this thing up, but also do something kind of crazy, silly, ridiculous? Because like I'd actually finished that script, at least like the first go of it, back in like 23 for like Halloween, that period, but I just couldn't get everyone together. And then finally I was like hanging out with my friend Jordan, who plays Connell Cochran in the Halloween Ends video, and we were just I was just trying to talk to him, like, okay, I'm trying to think of how to wrap this up, but I also was like, I want to bring Silver Shamrock. And then he started talking about the goofy plans and all that, and I finally cracked it where I'm like, okay, what if I had Connell Cochran in there, and like the Silver Shamrock group was also the Cult of Thorn. So I'm like, okay, that brings that in together. That incorporates Michael. That explains why Steve is just vanishing and all that stuff too. And okay, we got something here. But if you go back to like Halloween 3, Connell Cochran just kind of vanishes, and like, okay, maybe he ends up in our world. Now, obviously, I don't have an old Irish guy around to play like Connell Cochran, so I just threw like a goofy mask on my friend. And like, okay, he was disfigured, so that's why he wears it. And it's green, and it feels like in tune with Silver Shamrock masks and Cult of Thorn stuff. And why he doesn't have an accent, that's just my friend talking. It's silly, okay? We don't really have access to the great actor who plays Connell Cochran. So we went from there, and then he played a practical joke. What's a silly joke? Okay, plays a joke on the YouTubers, and it's just really dumb, ridiculous stuff. And then we just kind of went from there, filmed the fights, and then I try to think of a fight scene. I'm like, well, I've done stuff on Jack's channel with the Green Ranger bit. What if I just kind of had it there, and it's just, I'm getting the shit beaten out of me, and then I just happen to look at this thing right there, which was shown at the very beginning of the video, mind you. And then anyone who's just kind of jumping into like, what the hell is this? And I'm like, okay, we'll do a big fight scene there. Now, we didn't really have as much time to fully choreograph it. Like, if I could have, I would have done a full, like, crazy epic fight scene, so didn't really have the time or the resources to do it. So we just kind of made it a little bit more silly, and then that's where all the crazy effects I had to do in. And again, they're like cheesy, like Power Rangers effects, but they still took a long ass fucking time to do so. This is why I don't do crazy projects like this. I mean, Jack somehow managed to do like a full-blown Star Wars movie and all that, and here I am just like, okay, I gotta do this thing. Which, by the way, Jack was a tremendous help in getting that Halloween Ends video done, because I just, like, with the editing and all that, I'm like, I just can't get this to work, and it's just driving me crazy. I'm like, it's not going to look good, and some shots were a little iffy at times, because you can't really, I had like a small camera that I was using at the time. Now I just kind of just use my phone to film some of the videos because it's better quality, and I was using this like old Sony hand cam to film this stuff. But again, because it was all like done on like basically like the same camera for all that time, it stayed consistent looking throughout. But trying to put that all together with the fight and all that, I wanted it a bit longer, but we just didn't have much of a window to kind of get it all done. And finally got that all together. I mean, there's a lot of outtakes for that. You can go check that out. So Steve and Jordan helped it out, wrapped it all up.
And then finally, like, the long-ass post-production on the Halloween Ends video, which I wanted out on Halloween last year, but it was just too damn difficult. And so it finally got released on Thanksgiving with Jack putting together that awesome trailer with the tagline, Halloween Ends on Thanksgiving. I'm like, okay, that's a cool thing. And the Halloween Ends video is obviously the biggest one. I felt like it kind of wrapped up the story bits pretty well and had some crazy fun moments in there. And the analytical side of the video I thought was pretty good too. So it felt like a nice big bow, but I also kind of left the door open to cover more slasher stuff. The Freddy glove was a big little Easter egg in the back, because I'm like, well, I do want to cover that series. Like, there's a few horror series I do want to talk about at some point, and so I don't exactly know when I'll ever get to covering Elm Street, because I had done it on my old channel, like, beforehand, like when the 2010 film was coming out, but those videos are long gone, and to be honest, they weren't the best of quality anyways. But I think at some point I do want to bring Freddy into it somehow. I have some ideas, and if you watch some of the other like videos I've done, you might see some Freddy Easter eggs like kind of hidden in the background, kind of like how Michael Myers was. So I have some ideas for that. I don't know if like when I'll ever talk about it, but that's where kind of the ending of that came about. But I felt like it ended pretty well, and it just kind of was like a nice like bittersweet ending. When that video was finally done and posted, I just felt a big huge sigh of relief, like, oh my god, it's finally over. I can finally rest with the Halloween series, because as of right now it's done, and that's why I put this big huge collaboration compilation video kind of at the end here, and I don't know who else is around to kind of watch this stuff. But again, this is just kind of an end of the thing. Want to give some shout out to some people. Obviously the first one is my friend Steve, because he had been there pretty much since the beginning. Like, he started off like with the Halloween 4 and just kind of went onward. We mostly did like the big reviews were for 2018 and Kills. Then obviously he appears in Halloween Ends, but it wasn't really there for the analytical side like beforehand. Again, just because the way we kind of had it like written together and that too. So, but it worked out in the end. But you know, it was a fun little thing to kind of put together. Next up, obviously, my friend Jordan, who was a big help in playing Connell Cochran. Like, we were just laughing our asses off in his take. We just couldn't stop laughing anytime he talked. We had a lot of like lines where we just kind of couldn't say them because we're just dying in there. So that was cool. Like AJ Punk 15, he kind of been there for a while making thumbnails, and we had collaborated on other stuff beforehand too. So shout out to him. He made a little cameo in there, because I'm like, Adam's the biggest Halloween fan I know. And so I wanted to kind of have him factor into the video somehow. I'm like, this is the last thing. I need him in there somewhere. And having that essential, I guess, little plot bit to kind of explain how to stop things was a nice little way to cameo him. Dean there was kind of a last-minute cameo, so he helped out there. That was pretty good. Shout out to you, Dean. And, of course, Jack was a big, immense help in getting this thing done. My brother and, like, his fiance helped film a few things, too, so shout out to you both. And, yeah, so that was a pretty good way to wrap itself up. So now that you've been sitting here all this time, I have no idea how long this is going to be. I'm going to try and air this at 8. Hopefully it doesn't get flagged for copyright. Otherwise, I've been rambling on for about like 13 minutes or so. But thank you all so much for watching this stuff. Covering the Halloween franchise was a fun, epic journey. I'm sure I might dabble into it again, maybe do a ranking video next year, because that was like my original idea for a Halloween special here. I'm thinking, is Michael really gone, or is he not? Or whatever. I just kind of had some ideas about that. Or there's a new video game coming out. Maybe I'll talk about some of the Halloween games or something. But I finished the movies for now, so I think it's a good way to kind of wrap it up for right now. And who knows what I'll do next in terms of like horror stuff. I mean, I got Jaws week coming up, which I know I've teased for a while, but I got to get my ass working on that more. I got a few of the videos done. Well, filmed and, you know, voiceover and all that, but I still got to edit a lot of this stuff. But I have to have that done by the end of the year. If I miss that, I'm gonna cry. So that's where like a lot of this next month's gonna come. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna be fully committed to just getting Jaws week done. As long as it's done by the end of this year, that is my goal. And technically, Jaws: The Revenge is a Christmas movie, so it can kind of work in that capacity. But I have to have Jaws week done at some point. Maybe I'll save it for like the last week of the year or something. Who knows? Be a nice way to kind of close it all out. But yeah, so anyways, thank you all so much for sticking around for this. Happy Halloween. Hope everyone enjoyed their October, and I will see you again in the near future. So appreciate it. There's a little behind the scenes stuff on Halloween. I thank everybody who joined me for this stuff, and happy Halloween. So I'll see you all later.